Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Casting the Spotlight episode number 174. And this is the WrestleMania 41 podcast with the returning Chainsaw Cody Robbins, Ricky motherfucking Pickle.
Let's go.
Ethan's first episode since the first WrestleMania podcast 2 years ago. And my boy over here, E, he is back. And his handle is what, Rambo Go Crazy? He's going fucking crazy all over TikTok. So you gotta follow him.
Appreciate it.
But, how you boys doing? It's good to be back for another edition here.
It seems like just yesterday we were doing this.
It really does.
It's always a good time.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think we've got a lot of matches on the slate here tonight. We've got 13, not including Randy's match, so I guess it's safe to say that there's
14.
going to be 14. And I think what we're going to start with is going to be the Royal Rumble winner, Jey Uso versus Gunther. What the fuck is going to happen here tonight? Ricky, what are your thoughts?
Oh, man. I mean, I don't want to go first right off the bat. You can't call me out like that.
I mean, just in general, what do you think? Did you believe in Jey Uso as a Royal Rumble winner to begin with a few months back?
I mean, it honestly surprised me. It was a pleasant surprise. I mean, I guess with the crowd reactions and all that, I kind of expected he would get a main event push. But it's just weird to see him because, I mean, I personally kind of see him as a mid-tier guy. But he, like I was just talking about with E earlier, I rank him like I see him as like a 7. I don't love him, but I don't hate him. Is
he
good, but he's not great.
Hoisting
He's
a world championship?
I believe he is, but I think that he's maybe going to be a 2 or 3 time champ in his career. That's just how I see him. I mean, I feel like he's deserved it just from his natural crowd reaction and he's worked to get there.
Yeah.
He's been around a long
time.
He has been around a long time now, and that's just like we just said with the podcast. Times went by, and he's got to be 35 now.
He's older than that. He's been around since?
They debuted in 2009.
That is crazy to even think about. So 16 years.
Yeah.
That is mind blowing.
He's probably in his 40s.
He's got to be in his 40s. I personally think he's gonna win because I feel like Gunther's reign so far has been kind of stale, but he's still great. I still like him, but I just think it's time for a change. We don't need every champion to be there forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We got to get back to the point where we get a little bit of a random and the possibility of a title changing on a Raw or a SmackDown or just a random pay-per-view. I feel like it hasn't been like that for a while now.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think, always the length of the title reign. Look at that one reign that Dean Ambrose had as the U.S. champion where he barely defended it and somehow he had it for upwards of a year.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
It doesn't always mean that it was a quality reign. I don't think you have to go a year for it to mean something. Somebody could hold it for 3 months and then lose it and it doesn't necessarily reduce, the quality. How many times did they defend it? What caliber of star are they?
What it meant, when they won it, too, that's a big piece.
Sorry. No, 2 things. One, Chase was 39. We were over here Googling.
Oh.
But the cough was the wrong time to the microphone. Sorry. And second, did anybody catch the really good editing job of eliminating Dean Ambrose from all the Shield clips 2 weeks ago in a row? When they were back in Minneapolis in the building. They were like, we were here, we debuted here, blah, blah, blah. Every shot was just Seth and Roman. There's just no third person. Every single camera angle, he is just edited out.
Was that them or was that AEW too? Because AEW doesn't want them using some of their
It may have been, but it's still hilarious that it's
it could be
there a third person here?
AEW wouldn't have control over that because it would be WWE. It is Dean Ambrose, but so it is their guy.
But if anything, it'd be WWE being like, we don't want to showcase people.
True.
Google him, see he's in AEW, then go watch AEW.
Yeah.
But that's WWE content. So
either way, it's just I feel like it's just weird.
Yeah.
It shouldn't freaking matter that much. But anyway, I think Jay's got it.
Blur his face out.
Yeah, sorry. We just after you mentioned his age, we wanted to confirm.
It's totally okay. It's just kind of crazy, but I think he's got it. I think maybe a couple pay-per-views. I don't know what's going to happen with this reign, but let's just see if you can, keep the crowd reaction going as the champ and make it a little more exciting, because I feel like the main championships haven't been exciting for a while now. And as much as I love my boy Roman, that didn't help either.
It is nice to see somebody organically get over and like actually be elevated to the main event scene that wasn't
Just naturally.
necessarily intended on it.
Naturally, yeah.
But the thing is like, so you're kind of like, you view it as he's worthy of holding a few titles, but you know that it has a finite lifespan.
Yes,
because he was never like one of the people that were always booked that way. You know what's interesting, and I'm not even saying this to take a shot or like do well, obviously because I love Jeff Hardy. Well, it reminds me of Jeff Hardy. Who else was a 2 to 3 time champion? Who else was in a tag team that was one of the best of all time that later went into a
mid-card guy that the fans loved.
Yep, exactly. That the people got behind, and then that.
Yeah, no, I 100% see.
So I was whenever you were going through it a little bit ago, I was seeing a lot of those with Jeff.
But all right, I got Jay, so that's 1-0 Jay.
Yeah, I know you got some stuff to add to this whole conversation.
He's got the Jay shirt on.
What do you think? How long have you been behind Jey Uso?
I feel like we're gonna just start back from the Rumble. I see what they did. They want to give Cena that win just off the rip like that. They want to keep thinking that, okay, he's going to keep losing. But for the most part, I feel like from the business standpoint, Jey Uso is fairly over. And I feel like he might be as in due for a world title run. So I feel like just give it to him. Let him see how he go with it. He's over. He's up there with merch sales and
100%
stuff.
on the merch.
So I feel like it's due for him to get that belt. Gunther's run hasn't been the best, but I feel like it's something that you can really do with this story, but they kind of like dropped the ball on it in a way.
They waited, I feel like, too long.
They waited a little too late to like further get us invested to the story.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to say this. I said this on record multiple times. Big Jim would have probably been on WrestleMania if he didn't have to sacrifice himself to get this story open. Because he did go out on SmackDown and say he wanted to go out the LA Knight for the U.S. title. It didn't happen because he sacrificed himself. So now we're further invested in the story because Jay's due for this win. He hasn't won the match against Gunther. And they further keep telling you this. I feel like he gets that win.
Yeah, they're really trying to drive that home these last couple weeks. They're like, oh, Gunther's 3-0 against Jey. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and he just cut, if you saw Raw, like we were talking on the way here, he just cut one of the best promos I've ever seen him cut on Raw. Like, and it felt personal, it felt serious, like it was a legitimate. I just think almost the build has been, like, it's there, but it's kind of been a little inconsistent. It's at high points, and then it's at really, like, what the fuck are we doing here points, too.
Well, they, like, teetered off into, Gunther was, like, feuding with the Alpha Academy for, like, a few weeks, and Jay was backing him up and stuff. It's like, why are we even focusing on this? Just have these guys at each other's throats, man. And they didn't really do that until like 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe. And it's like, that was the earliest build. Because Jay said he wanted Gunther like right after the Rumble.
Yeah.
So, but I'm still looking forward to the match, regardless. Leo.
So you're going with Jay also.
Yeah, I'm locking in Jay to win the title. I think, honestly, he's
even if it's the opener?
I have no problem with it because let's be honest, from a business standpoint, we knew he wasn't going to main event a night. We knew Roman had to get on the card, Seth, Punk, Cena, and Cody.
Yeah, it's impossible. Yeah.
Those are the biggest, we talked about that. Those two matches have the biggest 5, unless you want to count Orton as part of that, obviously, also, but those otherwise the biggest 5 stars the company has, period, right?
Yeah,
I got it though.
He's not. He's up there.
I don't think he's comparable.
I got a better idea. 4 nights of Mania. We just spread it out.
Oh my gosh, let's not.
8 matches a night. Let's 4 nights.
I'm tapping out.
It's amazing. It is amazing how there's 2 nights.
I love
and
wrestling, but
still so much talent gets left off the cards, even with 2 nights. Or titles aren't defended, like you said. Like, why the fuck is the U.S. They just established their Continental Women's title and U.S. and they're not even defending them on Mania.
well, they got the Raw tag titles on the card, but not the SmackDown tag titles. If you ask me, the
I knew it was a
SmackDown tag
stupid
titles
idea.
and that feud is more deserving of being on the card than
Yeah.
the Viking Raiders and the New Day. I mean, no disrespect to either.
Oh, we'll
but
get to
it's-
those goofy fucking matches.
You do the best with what you're given, but so no disrespect to them, they're great teams. But I mean, just
Yeah,
the
I like
SmackDown
both
tag titles.
those teams.
Yeah,
a
if you're
lot,
gonna have
but-
if you're gonna have one of them, have both of them, and especially if you're gonna have the one with the weaker feud, definitely.
I
put
mean, the
one with better
SmackDown
feud on
tag.
there.
Yeah, we'll get to that. The
But-
SmackDown tag division is strong right now.
Yeah.
Stronger
So-
than it's been in a while.
All right, so we've got 2 for Jay so far. I don't think that's a huge surprise. I think everybody knows the direction they're like pushing it. What do you think, Cody? What have you made of all this? Were you a fan to begin with of Jay winning the Rumble or not?
I feel like the LA Knight did it, and we waited way too fucking long. Everybody got behind it, and we just wrote it and wrote it and wrote it and wrote it. We're like, are we gonna do anything here? But no, I think Jay's got it.
I would say it's fair to say though that Jay's that crowd being behind him has been hotter the past year than it's ever been though.
Oh yeah.
And most of that's been
Yeah, it's
since
really-
Mania and Rumble had already
Yeah.
happened. So I feel like they did it at the time most right, but also in his career, it is pretty late to do it.
Yes.
Because, like you're saying, like it kind of only elevates Ricky's point with him winning 2 or 3 because
Yeah.
that might be all there's time for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially
Even
if-
with 2 world titles. So,
If we get there, we'll
if-
see how it goes.
Yeah.
But it's looking like he very well may have at least won. So.
Yeah.
But what do you? I mean, did you like whenever he won the Rumble in January?
I mean, it was
Or
a
February?
surprise. I was literally sitting next to Ethan when it happened. I mean, I wasn't wrong. I wasn't mad about it. I mean, either one could have won, and I was like, all right, I'm fine with that. It came down to 2 good people. But I mean, the big thing is, it's still you can't keep calling him main event Jay. So if you're not gonna put the big title on him,
And not give him the main event.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's
In
never
what
really
sense
been-
exactly is he the main event?
Yeah.
Uso?
He's main event Jey Uso, but he's gonna open every show we have.
Saturday night main event.
Exactly.
That's true. Oh, look, it's Saturday night's main event. We know the title's not going to change hands, but we're going to book this match anyway.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much what they did.
And honestly, it really could go either way in this match, and I still would be upset because I like both of them. But I think it's finally time for Jay to get it. Like, if we don't give it to him here, what are we doing here?
Mhm.
Gunther's just getting stale. At least to me, he is.
Yeah, I agree.
I love the
I don't
character.
think the booking's been that great for
No.
his title.
Yeah, they just
run,
haven't really
you know?
given him a lot of.
It's kind of like what you're saying. It
strong
hasn't been the greatest, but it's
Yeah, the booking hasn't really been there. I think he went on like reporting, even like on record in the interview, and said something about it. Like the booking hasn't
I think
been
he
really
did.
that great.
yeah.
But I see what they're trying to do. They just gotta like get it over. I think it's gonna get over perfectly fine. So
I think Gunther too he's one of those guys like he's had a title 80% of the time
He's been in the company,
Like,
yeah.
The belt is gonna find its way back to him.
Oh yeah, we can
Pretty
move it
soon.
on after a while. You don't gotta hold it forever.
Yeah.
So another one, J30. What do you got, Ethan?
Yeah, Jay, I guess to sweep it then, but I'm pretty confident in that. I think this is one of the matches I'm more confident in. The build's been very up and down, and I mean, honestly, very up and down over the last few weeks, but up until, I want to say Jimmy slapping the hell out of Gunther, up until that point, it just really kind of felt like spinning its wheels. It felt like one of the worst builds, along with maybe Charlotte and Tiffany. But yeah, once like Jimmy came into the picture, which you knew was going to happen, he came in when they were in Glasgow when he was Jay's mystery tag partner. Once like he came into the picture, it's like okay, could kind of expected this. This is maybe what it needed to get that extra element, and you knew what Jimmy was there to be. He was there, to be the sacrificial lamb. But no, I agree with what E and Cody have said that like it's just you got to pull the trigger at some point, calling him main event Jey Uso. I mean, he's even had mid-card title attempts, and like, yes, he eventually got the IC title, but how many times did he fail before he got it? And like, there was even a point where like, you're calling him main event Jey Uso, and he's failing time and time again for the mid-card title. So that's where it's like, you know, he does sell a lot of merch, but to back up that merch, you've got to maybe capitalize on not just the numbers you're selling or making, but also just, you know, the title itself, your main event Jey Uso. But yeah, Gunther, he's great. I mean, he's phenomenal. His IC title reign was much better than this world title reign, in my opinion. Better creative. I also think it helped when he had Imperium. I think Imperium was great. I still upset they broke him up. Thought it was too soon. But Gunther on his own has kind of been like up and down ever since he's been away from not just, you know, Imperium, but also there for a bit when after Vinci was gone, Kaiser being gone from him, like just even having him by his side added like an extra element. I don't know, like sometimes it feels like Gunther doesn't really know what type of heel to be. Like sometimes he's like that mocking, laughing one. Sometimes he wants to be the intimidating one. And so, I mean, that's not his fault. You know, you do the best with what you can. But I think, yeah, Gunther's reign, like Cody says, kind of like getting stale ran his course. So I think Jay's a safe bet. I mean, especially if you're gonna have like some disappointing moments, like we'll get to maybe later about like say Cena as a heel winning. You want to have those good moments of just the whole arena eating.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Even balance.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
WrestleMania.
It is unfortunate that like once again here we are in another Mania year, and not just the men's Rumble winner, but the women's Rumble winner aren't going to be in the actual main
event. Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's here we are once again, and it's like I guess it ties into what Cody was touching on, the main event name. But yeah, I mean maybe one year they'll actually be put in that spot, but I'd have to say maybe that'd be a good start to the show. Get everybody hyped up.
I could see that
night
being
one.
a Saturday opener.
Yeah, get everybody hyped up night one.
What they're really saying is like these, even though that this is where the Rumble winner came from, men or women or you know whoever wins, is that well you guys might have won the Rumble, but he's a bigger star.
Yeah.
So they're like immediately with the Roman Seth Punk thing, and I was kind of wondering that for a while too because I'm like what are they gonna do because me and Elijah were talking about it for weeks before like they put any matches on either card, and it didn't really make sense. Like I was like, okay, they're gonna, and that's what kind of really annoyed me at first was because I'm like, this doesn't really have any stakes other than you know who's Paul Heyman going to align with and who's going to come out on top. And I was like, why are they even doing this beyond just kind of doing a triple threat? Like I understand that they're all three great, they're all capable of having a great match. I back everything to do with that, but like, there's got to be stakes and there's got to be meaning in having this match. You know what I mean? And at the very least, if you don't have the greatest build-up, like this has to perform, and we'll get to it later, like it has to be one of the best triple threats we've ever seen in order to justify this taking precedence over anybody else's main event. For nothing, no title shot, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, as far as we know,
it's
I mean,
three major stars that are major stars, and Roman is the main major star of this era still, even if Cody's on top right now. Roman, this is still his
It's
era.
for the future of wrestling.
So
Seth Rollins said.
I don't know. I always just kind of, but I questioned that a lot at first. But yeah, we'll get to that.
you could even say Punk's a bigger star.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm not saying they're not doing anything good, but I don't think it's a secret that the interest in AEW just absolutely shrunk after he left and all that happened.
Yeah.
It did.
Well, especially
Straight up, the ratings reflected it.
especially once
Did
he
they
came
not?
into
We
the-
talked about this.
I mean, I
Especially
think they're
once he
losing
came
a
in.
pretty astronomical amount of money right now
Right.
from the things that I was selling.
But like once he came to WWE and time passed and there were no issues, no backstage drama, no nothing, then it's like okay, well, I mean, Punk's not the common denominator, so
Yeah.
I think that also like made it a lot of people like be like okay, maybe it wasn't Punk's fault and that made him tune out because they tried like being like
He
oh,
also
it was Punk's
knows
fault.
that you
It was all Punk.
Uphold like a certain different behavior, I'm sure, within the sphere of WWE.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
from what it sounds like, from what like I mean, trust the dirt sheets how much ever you want, but also from what we know, like it seems like backstage AEW is like sometimes just hey,
We
like,
talked
pretty
about
lenient,
this.
pretty lenient, like
When I said, I was like, every time you have active talent working behind the scenes and writing the show, there's always going to be a conflict of interest. Always.
WCW.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, did you have didn't you say you're like, yeah, it was hot at that time, and it kind of started to fall off after
Like
all the mishandling.
like once I seen reports of like certain wrestlers having these like creative controls, and I'm like, okay, this sounds good, but some just don't make really that much sense because you're booking how you do on the show, and we've seen it done off topic, but Mercedes Moné, we've seen it done. It's not a good idea because then now you're just booking yourself to go over.
You're walking out there with 5 belts.
Yeah.
You know, what the fuck is going on with that? See, nobody knows. That tells me everything I need to know because we all love wrestling.
I also haven't watched AEW in it's been about 3 months.
Yeah.
I caught some clips here and there, but I
That's
can't
what I
find
mean.
anything going on.
Social media
That
highlights.
only
that's about it.
justifies the point of this conversation.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're still in all of the same feuds where when I quit watching, so
Yeah.
I really don't feel like I'm missing anything.
Yeah.
I did see a report that they're thinking about consolidating some of their titles, like
People are going to be like,
You
such
don't
a
need 9
WWE
titles.
march.
I know, you probably should. Yeah, you don't need a title for
They need to
everybody.
get rid of one of the shows too.
Collision probably just needs to go at this point. Fuck it.
Well, what else?
Or at least Rampage.
Oh,
Is
Rampage.
There's
Rampage
no
still
reason
going?
Rampage is even going.
I
don't
think
know.
it is. I
Dark,
think it is.
Dark and Elevation.
I think
been going for a
Rampage still
while.
goes on.
Man, AEW came after him. He put some of his TikTok content up, and they tried to fucking go after him.
Hey, and to this day, hey, they. At the end of the day, I had a good run. WWE does me way better, so anytime AEW drops something, I gotta shit on it. It's just beef at that point.
Tony Khan, fuck you.
This is how it is. I don't care what Tony Khan does to that show. I don't care what ex-WWE guy you get. I will not turn it on.
He's looking at every single negative
he
tweet
stays
about
up
him
late.
all day
Well,
long.
now they're saying Mariah May is reported to be going to WWE when her contract's up, so he's getting
we'll see.
He's getting Jade Cargill again, so
Yeah.
build up to another.
I mean,
star.
Jade was a talent because she's got a 11 out of 10 look that like you can't pass on her because regardless she's got a several year you can teach her how to wrestle because
I'm worried
they
about her
didn't.
match. We'll get that.
I think
It'll be quick.
We'll get to it. Anyway, no, I think it's me and you next, but it sounds like
Yeah.
we're all pretty on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, I got the Gunther shirt, man. I love Gunther. I think, don't get me wrong, I think he's going to dominate 80% of this match. I think he's probably going to whoop Jay's ass. But I think Jay's winning at the end of the day. And I think Jay deserves it. I mean, like we said, the dude's been around for a long
I can't believe
time.
it's been that long.
He was there, him and Jimmy were there years before Roman.
It
You
wasn't
know?
like Tamina with them at some point. They had a girl with them.
I think so.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
had
that
to
was
be
way
Tamina.
back. So long ago.
Yeah.
So J50.
So Jay, yeah, I'm going Jay.
Yeah, I'm gonna add.
It just
that.
is logical.
I'm gonna make it 6-0. I think we were all pretty clear on that one.
Because I mean, what do you do with Jade?
And that's the thing.
How many more can he lose? Like you still push him as hard as you're pushing. him?
Regardless of what his ceiling is going to be as far as the title reigns go, the consequence of him not winning the title is his career is going to be fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
And honestly,
There's
we
not
talked
that
about
much time
too.
left, so you can't. There's
No.
physically, I feel like that would just make no sense.
He's never going to get to this point where the crowd's behind him again if he loses this match.
Yeah.
I just thought too, if he does win,
He's going to get Nakamura.
You could then do a Jimmy turn at some point and
Hey.
hopefully redeem that terrible Mania match from last year and do a brother for the world
The
title.
feud, yeah.
But-
That'd be dope.
I remember you guys saying that about Cody, about when he lost to Roman the first time. But he came
he's
back
been
and did it.
around.
He came back and did it.
I feel
That's his
like
boy.
if they don't capitalize on this Jey Uso incident, he's gonna be like LA Knight. Just go out there, go hype up the crowd.
Hey, what are you talking about? LA Knight's the United States champion. Yeah.
And
That's probably as high as he's gonna get, though.
I mean, he's like 45.
Yeah, I mean, he might still win the world heavyweight. He's probably not going to win.
Who's 45?
LA
Is that
Knight.
LA Knight?
He's in his.
He's like
mid-40s,
41 or 2, right?
Oh, I thought
You
he
can
was-
check us.
But even older than Jay.
We got our guy checking it. So
Yeah, I'm Guy. Hello.
Next match.
Man, well,
42.
42. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was like 41 or 2, but that's a clean sweep. Jey Uso winning the World Heavyweight Championship from Gunther. Perhaps the opening match, perhaps not. But we're all pretty agreed. I just think the consequence of him losing is way worse than if he wins. How much further is he gonna get? I think we should be concentrating on the fact that once upon a time we never thought that was even in the cards.
Yeah.
Now it's in the cards. So if he wins a title and perhaps ends up winning 2 or 3 more.
Well, it was never supposed to be him. Remember, it was supposed to be Jimmy, but Jimmy got hurt.
And then Jimmy had like 5 DUIs. So
Yeah.
that didn't help him either.
Dude,
Once
they're
again,
still
Jeff and Matt
screwing
Hardy.
Jimmy over.
Hey, Jeff, I mean, that man in DUIs is like peanut butter and jelly. At this point, I mean, Percocet, Molly.
I'm feeling a DUI tonight.
Tequila.
Let me get behind the wheel.
Yeah.
So, should we start the bet on who gets the next one? I guess the next DUI is going to be Jeff.
Well, I hope Jeff
Jimmy
gonna
gonna
see
start
Jeff.
going.
It'll be in
I'm pretty sure Jeff doesn't have a license until like 2035. Like, legitimately. So he's probably having his wife and stuff. Or
He's
Matt
got enough money. He's got enough money.
He's got to up the ante. He'll be caught in a car with a fire on.
But Matt probably has to lay down to drive his car because he's so stiff.
we briefly brought this one up during our discussion earlier on it. So let's just blow through it because we all know the second match is the piss break. So let's just throw this one out there for our second. The War Raiders versus the New Day for the the World Tag Team Championships. And I'm not saying the talent is a piss break. I'm saying like it's been constructed out of fucking thin air. 2 weeks of build up. No, they're at Mania. You guys don't give a fuck about the tag team division. Don't act like you do.
Right.
E, what do you think? Who's going over in this one? We talked about the tag teams a little bit.
You turn the New Day heel, it's only right you give them the belts. I love the Viking Raiders. I love it. They gave them their original name back, War Raiders. I love it. But the casual audience is not picking up on it. So it's just like they come out, they don't get that much of a crowd reaction. So I just feel like, honestly, Raw's the #1 show. We all know that now. How they're booking it, it's on Netflix.
Boo.
It's the number
It's
one
on Netflix.
SmackDown for life.
Yeah.
But why do you care that much?
I just
To
always.
be honest, if you look back,
Okay,
back in the
okay,
day,
look at me.
SmackDowns were a lot better.
They
than
were a
Raw.
lot better, and honestly,
I mean,
Monday night, Friday night.
Friday night, you got way more going on.
Yeah, but like
In
as
theory.
a
But there was
kid,
a time in
staying up
2005.
on Friday night for Friday night SmackDown will
Tuesday night.
always be way better than staying up at a school night.
It wasn't always
It's
on
Thursday
Friday.
night. It's
Thursday
It
night
wasn't always on Friday.
SmackDown.
It debuted.
Sci-fi.
It debuted on Thursday.
Yeah.
When was it not Friday? When's the last time it wasn't Friday? Fact check me.
Like a
Fact
long
check
time
me
ago.
now. Yeah, back when we were like 2.
No, it was like 2013.
No
It was-
way.
No, when it was on like Tuesday.
Oh,
It
they
was
did
like
that.
Tuesday.
No, what used to
It
what they
wasn't
used
long,
to do,
though.
what they used to do
Sci-fi.
was record on Tuesday and then because it was.
I'm
never,
pretty
it was
sure
never
it was
live.
still on
Yeah.
Friday
No,
on
no,
Sci-Fi.
when they
It
went
got
to
televised on
the
Friday.
2016 draft, when they went to
I think I do
SmackDown
remember
Live,
that
it was still
literally,
live
right.
on Tuesday.
Fuck you.
Do you remember this Tuesday night SmackDown?
Tuesday night SmackDown.
I don't remember it.
They used to do ECWs on
Yeah.
Tuesday
Yeah,
nights.
that was definitely a thing.
And then main event.
So it's just like
Superstars was on Thursday for a while.
I was always a SmackDown guy. That's what I always used to like when I was a little kid. But now it's like, okay, yeah, push this
Raw for the win.
initiative towards us now. Like Raw's the superior, SmackDown is just the B show.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, they signed the $5-10 billion deal with Netflix.
Yeah,
and they're going to
God.
get the majority of the talent, and now it's an
SmackDown
equal.
might go to Netflix eventually.
Which
Now,
is-
yeah,
I
that's
think
what
it
they're
will.
trying.
Which is why we're paying, $150 for nosebleeds now. But,
Yeah.
And they're like USA Network to keep them at bay. They're like, no, you guys got a show to replace Raw. Here you go. And then SmackDown, they're like, just give the writers the next few years off.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're like,
it's
don't
like
even
we'll
fucking-
have Cody come out and Randy come out,
Yeah.
and that's the
That's
saving grace
yeah.
of the show. And they really do a lot with the tag teams on SmackDown. I'll give them that. They're like trying with the tag teams on SmackDown, but they're still not on the card at Mania. So
Profits should have been on it.
Motors. So do we? I mean, me and you like kind of criticize the build a little bit of both tag team matches just because.
So we're
it's
gonna
kinda like,
break
well,
it
let's
over
get them on
those?
the card, but it doesn't. We were just talking about this off air a little bit, me and Ricky and Elijah. They don't really seem like for a long time they put all that much effort into the tag team division. Period. You know what I mean? Every year now they're just like, all right, well, which women's wrestler or two are being left out? Let's throw them with somebody and let's throw them into a tag team championship match.
It's like honestly, I don't know. Like, did somebody like tell Triple H like, hey, WrestleMania's coming up. We need some good stuff coming on, and it's like some feuds it was hot, and then some is cold. So now you kind of got this invitation going in. Okay, some of these matches, we know it's gonna be good regardless, but the builds towards some of these matches is just not good. But they kind of started late on some of these builds with like 2-3 weeks before Mania. I feel like it's gonna be a good card nonetheless, but definitely with the build towards going into the show, it wasn't all that good, and I think we can all agree upon this. The predictions of what we could have had this year's Mania compared to now is mind-blowing.
We fantasy booked this a few months ago, and it was fucking a lot more, like, it was a lot better than probably the card is, in theory, because we were also like Rock Roman, you know, maybe Punk and Rollins, or like maybe
Why wasn't it?
somebody else did.
It was a fantasy.
I don't know, but that's why we have a triple threat. I know that
It makes no sense.
because
but
Rock's
whatever.
off the card. Like, there's no way
Yeah,
they
but
had any.
is
That's
he
why
off
this
the card,
triple
though,
threat has
really?
no stakes.
Holy
Yeah,
crap.
How dare you? Paul Heyman is at stake. How dare
Well,
you?
that's true.
How fucking dare you?
I love
Put some
Paul
respect
Heyman.
on the
Beautiful man.
And
So Paul Heyman on a pole, man.
and I
It
love
really is.
and I love
Not even a
yeah.
shark cage in above the middle of the ring.
It's a Paul Heyman custody case.
Yes.
It is.
Custody of Paul Heyman.
He owes everybody a favor. So
Yeah, like the ladders out. Custody of Paul Heyman match time.
So
I
you
don't
picked
know.
the New Day, though, right?
yeah,
I forgot we were talking about
Yeah,
this
yeah.
match. That's so far out.
Well, see, that's the thing. Nobody even remembers. The thing is about some of these matches with weaker / non-existent feuds, they can only really surpass our expectations though, because
Yeah, I mean,
they
that
had
is one
nothing
thing that's
behind the
good.
machine. Like,
Oh
it's
yeah,
just like,
I mean
alright.
the card itself is gonna bang, bro. It's
That
gonna
match
be
will
a
be
great.
good.
card.
The matches are gonna be great. The
Yeah.
matches are gonna be great.
The build is just like E said. It's kind of just been. It's left something to be desired. You know.
No, for sure. And out of the last three, I definitely felt like overall last year had the strongest build towards it than 39 or this year.
I think yeah, probably 40 was just. But a lot of stuff also kind of like got the back seat because they give so much time to the bloodline
To the four
and
the
Cody.
lock and
Yeah.
But the build is great. So we got War Raiders, New Day. So who's taking this one, Cody?
Cody.
We're just gonna skip Ricky.
Yeah,
No,
we
we're
are.
gonna
We're
change
going
okay.
each time.
My
Yeah.
bad.
First-
I was like, hold
first
on. We
person-
just like.
first person's gonna change each time for the question.
I don't know. I like War Raiders. I think just stick it on them. And like you were saying, I think the casual fans not getting it because they've gone through 6 name changes, and for a while one was injured and there's only one, and then the other got injured when the other
The
came
War
back.
Raider.
Yeah, it was War Raider for a while.
Wasn't it like the Viking Raiders?
Yeah,
or something?
Viking
I thought
Raiders,
that
the
was
Viking
like, they made 100 different
The
things.
I didn't
Viking
even know who we were
experience
talking
was
about
the
for a
worst.
second.
You can't.
that only happened for like what? A couple
You can't.
months.
Yeah.
Why would
They're
you
like
put
the
Viking?
Joe Rogan experience is pretty big right now.
Yeah.
Let's do a Viking experience.
the Viking experience.
What is that? Yeah, what does that mean? That's not intimidating at all.
Well, I
You
mean, you
should've-
experienced the Vikings.
Yeah,
I mean-
you're gonna watch some Vikings in a ring. There you go. That's your
Yeah, the
experience.
fucking 1100s. That sounds like a good time to drop
It's like Vince was just like watching history documentaries and he was really getting into Vikings.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, we're gonna make a tag team. This would be really going to the Vikings.
We should have just got the War Machine name. Just paid the money. We know Vince had the money to spend. He should have just spent the fucking money on it. Got the War Machine name.
Did you go with War Raiders?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
New champs. Well, actually, no, they're gonna
They're-
retain.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
retaining.
they're the champs.
It
I
just
like-
feels like the New Day would have the belts, you know.
Yeah, at this point, I was like, the New Day doesn't have the
Yeah.
belts. Hold on, wait,
Yeah.
why? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I really feel about the new build for the New Day. I don't know. I like that they're healed, but I don't know if I like the direction they're pushing it. I don't know.
in a weird way, does this make any sense? It doesn't. I mean, like I know they did the whole angle with Big E and just he's gone, and like they have been without him the last few years. But it doesn't really feel like they added any dimensions. It feels like they subtracted something.
Yeah.
And not even just Big E himself. It just is like now they just kind of
they didn't give a damn about
they feel
the New Day
bare.
once Big E left.
Yeah, they just feel like bare. Like
Yeah.
It just feels like
You could literally put anybody in there.
It's like
in the
33% of them are missing.
That's why. Part of me could see Cody being right about the Warriors winning, but only because why is this match even on the card? This could be a Raw mid-card match if Big E comes back and fucks over the New Day or something.
Yeah.
That could be Mania worthy.
Finally reveals he's medically cleared.
Yeah.
I mean, that would
Takes
be
a
pretty
bump,
damn cool.
Gives a bump.
that would be one hell of a work.
Or what if we're holding out?
I feel like
on the right
I think we're stretching here.
I mean, but this is the
I know we
thing.
sound like Colton right now.
Yeah, we definitely sound like.
Well,
Colton.
SummerSlam next year.
13 minutes and 27 seconds into the show is when that's gonna happen.
So after they turned on Big E on Raw, does anyone know if Big E showed up like on any of their like shows after that?
No,
So he's been MIA since that happened.
I don't think he's of any consequence.
I mean,
to this.
if he would have still been appearing on like public stuff or like pre-shows or anything like that, I'd be
think
like,
he's been on some
okay,
pre-shows.
He
yeah,
might have been on
he's probably not going to return.
pre-shows to pay-per-views.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Was he on those? Because if not,
I
if
think
he's
he was
just
on
been MIA this whole time.
Chamber, I think, wasn't it?
Like the
I think-
precast.
I think
Yeah,
you've been
like
on
pre-show,
like,
post-show.
I think you've been on like pre-shows and stuff
Okay,
like
okay. I'll say because if he wasn't,
I mean,
then I'd be
even
like,
still,
if
though,
he's
that's
been
kind of
completely MIA.
inconsequential.
Yeah,
You could
they
be
really-
Big E, the fucking
Right.
media personality,
Yeah.
and Big E, the wrestler. You know?
Yeah, you can still do it.
So
No,
one
Booker
for
T.
one for the New Day, one for the what are they? The Viking Raiders. The
They
War
experience-
Raiders.
Raiders.
Oh yeah.
The War Viking.
Damn it, put some
Raiders
respect on the name.
See,
The War Viking.
The
Raiders
war.
experience.
This in a nutshell. In a nutshell, this is the fucking tag team division of the last 18 years. That's pretty much what it is. In WWE.
This is why we really don't need 2 nights on Mania. We're giving
Hey,
too many.
Mania
No.
2
Too many
nights
matches.
That's not
needs
gonna
to happen.
No, I'm not.
Needs to
I'm
happen.
still not.
Mania
not
1
2
night
minutes.
is way too long.
I'm
The issues.
well, then
split
cut the
tag
matches.
titles.
Okay, you're not worried about the split tag titles, but it's also the.
He'll agree.
It's
You
also
you need
the.
to cut the tag titles down to 1.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
No,
agree on
100%.
that. But at the same
He
time,
said that at
we're
Mania
giving
last
too
year.
many matches. You get a WrestleMania,
And they split 'em.
and it's like why?
That's what I'm saying.
And they split them, and they have like 3 tag teams.
I remember
It's
you
like, what the fuck are
saying
you
that.
doing?
You were so peeved about that at last year's Mania when the matches were going on. You're like, this is so dumb.
And-
you're
and-
like,
Because they
it's
split up.
too
the-
thin.
that's
What
they
happened?
did.
Yeah,
What happened?
exactly what you said.
Exactly.
Can we all agree that the Raw the Raw tag team titles are god awful? They look like a
Which
fucking
ones?
silver
The
platter.
design.
A silver
Isn't it like
platter.
is it the one that's a throwback to like
No, that's
the
SmackDown.
20 years ago? No, those
SmackDown's-
ones are. I like those.
SmackDown's look good. Raw is just
What
it's,
is- I don't
it looks
even
like the
remember what the hell it
24/7 title redesign.
Nobody even knows.
It
what
kind
it's
of
called.
looks like
It
it kind of looks
Yeah.
like the tag team titles from like the mid 2010s,
Oh, like the ones the Usos had for a bit, black strap.
like the
think
Trojan.
like-
Oh, sorry,
like
the
the
Trojans
bronze,
on them.
look like a penny, a
Yeah.
giant penny.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's dumb. The ones that look like a throwback
Oh,
to
those
like the
SmackDown
late
ones are
90s and
phenomenal.
2000s, I love that.
Have a
Yeah,
smart
those are
design.
The early 2000s tag titles.
Yeah, no, they were sick.
Yes.
But Ethan, who you got?
War Raiders.
New
Yeah.
champs.
No.
They're the champ.
They are the champs.
It's twice in a row. No,
3
I mean,
times.
I did think about, before Elijah mentioned it, I did think about the Big E thing. I thought about it, like, I think back on, I don't know, I think I heard it on the Ringer. They mentioned it, and I think I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they
a
might
good
have
idea.
mentioned on there.
But no, I thought about mentioning it, and then, so I'm glad you did. And I mean, it could. It'd be a nice swerve, maybe to like what Tim was kind of saying. It needs that extra thing to get this going. They're at a point where like they need to just combine the titles. I mean, they're thin on teams. Even with the women's, they got a unified women's title across brands. It used to be like even including NXT till they got their exclusive ones. But I mean, a throwaway team of Bayley and Lyra just won. We'll get to that, but just to like touch, like even when you got it's a smaller division. I get it with women, but
But I mean, they could make
With
the
tag
women's
divisions.
tag division with one set of tag belts, they could make that shit cool.
Yes, 100%.
They got enough wins.
They need
Yeah.
actual tag
Yeah,
teams
they're-
in both
why
in all
is
these
there-
divisions. That's one of the
Right.
main things.
Not
But
just
no,
throwing
none of
together
these,
half-ass.
none of the women wrestlers want to necessarily be locked into a tag team, for lack of better words. So they're just like, oh, it's your turn, and they cycle that like Bianca. Now she's cycled
it
out of
makes you
that.
not
Now
care at
Bailey,
all.
now Bailey and Liv are in it. And once they get cycled out of it,
But I mean, the women's tag match, the match that the titles changed hands when Liv and Raquel won them from Bianca and Naomi, that match was fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That was a
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
match. That's what I mean. If they could do more stuff like that,
Well, the match, with Bailey and Lyra.
it's probably going to be
It's going to be a great match.
match.
But like my point with that is like Bailey and Lyra is just a thrown together team, which I think is going to be more to that. I think it's going to be a Bailey heel turn.
Yeah,
But
and it's to get Bailey kind of
So,
on the
yeah,
card.
I think
So
both tag
they're
matches
just-
will be short.
yeah, I think it's going to be a great match. But I think they're just using the match to help turn Bailey heel.
Yeah.
I mean, Liv.
But in that case,
Liv
it's like
too. Liv had a great year.
right.
She deserves to be on the Mania card.
Well, and they
So,
also
like,
had the unholy union of Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, and they released Isla Dawn like 2 months ago or something like that, and now they got Alba Fire with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven doing like Secret Service type thing, which it's a great gimmick. Chelsea Green's killing
Secret
it.
Service.
Which is another thing you touched on. You got a women's U.S.
We
title
talked about that.
and a
Why
women's
the
IC title.
why the
is
fuck
he not
is
on the card?
Chelsea Green left off the card
Dude, she's
after the
killing
year?
it.
She's more
Chelsea
over than almost
killing it.
all of them are right now.
Yes.
I seen a report. It says something about there was something in the plans of her like hosting WrestleMania, but
That could
then,
have been fun.
but then
Yeah.
they just dropped it. Like they just scrapped it. So there
The
was
fun
no plans
police
of her.
showed up and said no.
Yeah.
But it's like
No.
Lyra's on the card. I mean, she's not defending her belt, but like
That's
she's,
silly.
she's on the card.
And then they leave
Chelsea's
off,
not.
like-
and then they leave off Chelsea and the Miz, who's left off his
Which-
first WrestleMania in
and-
17 years.
If you ask me, by doing that, you're
Oh,
kind of
shut
like
up.
you're kind of in.
Cena?
Well, yeah, but he's not on the card.
Cena?
He's not in
No.
the match.
Wait, what? Wait.
Random Miz replacement?
Oh,
For
No,
Cena?
Randy could punt him.
but by
I mean, for Orton, you know what I mean.
but
Yeah.
by having Lyra on the card,
I mean,
you're
it's
actually not
possible.
defending her belt and then leaving Chelsea off. You're kind of
It's not
also
like they have anybody else.
inadvertently like telling people, oh, the IC belt, women's IC belt is more.
This is
important.
their first year
More
off,
important
like
than the
off
women's US
the
belt.
inauguration of both belts.
Well, and Chelsea's again getting the short stick. I remember when they were like in her hometown in Canada, like 2 months ago or so. Oh no, what? There was a pay per view a while back there in Canada. Was that?
I mean,
Rumble?
that was
It was Chamber.
Chamber, yeah,
Chamber was in
And she
Toronto.
was on the card for that, but they gave her a match on the SmackDown the night before, and it's like, come on, just give
They
her that
might
moment.
give
She's
her a
killing it,
WrestleMania SmackDown. They
Yeah.
probably will give her something on there.
But yeah, got off topic, but yeah, War Raiders. I mean, yeah, just combine the titles at some point this year, hopefully.
Dude, we do this every 3 to 5 years.
They eventually
Like-
go back. They always
Yeah.
do, and then they eventually split it again. It's just a constant cycle.
And whoever the tag champions are should be able to bounce back and forth between Raw and
Yeah.
SmackDown.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
different shit can happen. It like keeps it interesting. And then people actually care about the division. But they just like, oh, Mania, they kind of elevate it for a minute and then they just kind of forget about it.
They're falling back into, oh, we have nothing for you, like individually, so we're just gonna throw you together
No.
as a team.
And now they're doing that with all the women, what the men's
Yeah,
went
yeah.
through 10
Yeah.
to 12, 15 years
Sometimes
ago.
it works. That's how we got Air Boom, with Evan Bourne and Kofi, and that was dope. And then Kofi and Punk.
I
was
mean,
dope, but
Air
same-
Boom was cool, but again,
were goofy.
it was just
It-
two
no, that
guys
was,
that they
but
were going, we
it
got
worked.
I'm not
nothing
saying-
going on.
It's
You
not.
guys go together.
No, I get it. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it's just absolutely terrible. Like,
It's not the
match-wise.
fault of the talent. It's just this is a misuse of these people. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
and like if like it's a slap in the face to the actual teams. Like again with Bailey and Lyra, just using that as
Yeah.
a lead. If they turn Bailey heel as a leeway just for that, it's like to the actual women's tag teams who could have actually.
It would be
used
different
that spot.
if they were an actual tag team. You know what I mean?
That's what
If
I'm
they
saying.
were a unit,
The
it would
actual
be
women's-
different.
the
It
actual
was
women's tag
obvious
team.
You would
they were
care.
going to be the ones. That's the thing, though. That's how much that the women's tag division doesn't really matter. Is that gauntlet match?
It was
Bailey and
good.
Lyra.
It was good.
You saw Bailey and Lyra, and you saw all the other women's tag teams, and I immediately was like, Bailey and Lyra is winning this match.
Yeah.
They're gonna put Bailey on the Mania card. Like,
It was only one legitimate tag team in that gauntlet, which was Caden Carter and Katana Chance. They did not let them win. I knew they wasn't gonna win. Once I seen Bailey and Lyra in the middle of the ring, I'm like,
And the last time they've even been on TV, I couldn't even tell you.
Like,
Caden Carter and Katana Chance.
last time I think I seen them was like NXT or something. They wasn't doing nothing.
Yeah.
And now we get to this point.
A year ago, they were like the women's tag champs, and how far they've fallen. Yeah, how far they've fallen. But I mean, you get actual teams like that. I mean, yeah, you got Piper and I think Isla.
They
now
just
kinda
threw them
just became
together,
a team. But
It's
like,
her
they're
and
not,
Alba.
they're not even
Yeah.
really a team. They're more of like, they haven't been used as a team really. They've been used as more just like sidekicks of Chelsea's. But like J&J Security, like they weren't used as a team. They were used as like just henchmen for stuff, and that's kind of how they've been using like Piper and Isla. So I wouldn't even say they're or Alba, sorry. So I wouldn't even say that they're a tag team. But
Who do you got? It's 2-1 War Raiders so far.
I'm sticking with my gut, I think, and going with the New Day. Because they already kind of dropped the ball on them turning heel. That could have been a big deal. That could have been a lot bigger than it should have been.
oh yeah,
Like, dude, the
Crowd
New
was
Day were, like, honestly one of the biggest, like, babyface acts going for, like, a few years.
Mhm.
So it should have felt like a big deal when they said "fuck you" to everybody. You know what I
should
mean?
have felt a fraction as big as Cena turning
Yeah.
heel, but it nothing.
Instead, it felt like it completely it didn't just surface, it just fell below the surface.
Yeah,
You're like, what
It's
happened?
like we turned
You need to
heel, and
remember-
like, what are we doing here? Like
Well,
this is
the Big E moment hurt. I mean, watching
Yeah.
the Big E moment was like, oh, I feel bad for E right now.
Yeah, that was
man.
one
But,
week
like,
though, and then we moved
exactly.
on.
And it
Yeah.
quickly cooled off. They didn't capitalize on like the heat that got for them. Because I mean, even before that moment, like it was like Cena said, whether you boo or you cheer, at least you get a noise. And like they were like getting silence.
I don't
And
think
it was,
he's.
like, it just was dead in the water.
I definitely don't think he's clear, and I don't know if he will be, and maybe eventually. But here's the other thing: is I think this detracted from their heel turn too, is because usually there's members that turn on the other member, and if they had actually beat him down, that would have given them a lot more heat. But they couldn't because he's not medically cleared, and he still can't wrestle, and let alone take a beating or something like that either. So I really don't think that's in the cards at all.
Unless.
But it kind of felt like it was over, but you already knew it was over because he hadn't been in the ring in years. So it just kind of, I don't know. I can't really explain like what it did exactly, but it felt like
it's
you didn't really
exactly
have
it.
much.
It didn't do anything.
No, it didn't. But the thing was, they couldn't really do much like to him, and I think it would have. Even like storyline, if they had beat him down, you'd been like, oh, dude, he's actually fucked up. You can't, you would have felt animosity towards them. You know what I mean? But it kind of left you feeling like, okay, well, they kind of kicked him out, but he already hasn't really been here.
Yeah.
So
They just looked at
where
him
do
and
we
go,
go?
hey, we don't like you no more. You can't play with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah,
Go
that was
away.
kinda
And
how
that
it
was
felt.
basically it.
That was kinda how it felt. So you said the New Day?
Bob, get out of here. Yeah.
You're not wrestling anymore.
I still think that the New Day, they got to do something with this. And if Big E isn't cleared, which he probably isn't, that's the only way I see the War Raiders winning the match. Otherwise, the New Day should pick up the belts. So I'm going New Day. All tied up, 2-2.
Yeah,
Tim, I mean.
I'm going to say that. Yeah, I think the New Day probably win the belts again as heels because it'll help do something for them. You know what I mean? I guess it depends on what they actually do at the tag team division going forward. But we've been in the same cycle, in the same circle we've been in for the last almost 2 decades. So
So in other words,
It'll
our whole
only-
adult our whole life. at this point.
it'll only be elevated to the point where I feel like the competition of the teams around them and like what they actually do on air of importance with the teams. But I mean, it would be interesting to see what a title reign looks like as heels, same as kind of the situation we're with John and all that stuff. But it would be way different for the New Day, so I feel like that would do. It doesn't have a lot of build. So I feel like our expectations are low. Doesn't mean it can't be a good to even great match. I don't think they'll have a lot of time, same as the women's title match. But if they execute what they're intending on, I feel like it won't be bad. And you got talented guys in there. I think they
like
win
both
because
those
I don't
teams.
know where they go if they don't, and it would be interesting to see them as heel champions. You know what I mean? That's at least something. So I'm gonna take
Is
the
it really though?
It's more than them losing and turned heel, and now they're left with fucking nothing.
Yeah.
They've got nothing now, so
Exactly.
where do we go with
You got to
this?
do something.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I mean, what was the point unless you do something with it?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go New Day.
4-2.
Yep.
It's just you boys, I think, right?
The bench
Raiders.
boys.
The bench
Well,
boys.
I'm kind of like with Elijah. If, I don't know, like if Big E returns, then I'm going War Raiders. But I don't know, that's tough.
He doesn't have to get physical for him to do something to
Yeah,
distract
they
can
can
him.
still
just distract him.
distract
Yeah,
him.
shit,
Over.
jump out or get out. of
But
the
that's
crowd,
also,
whatever.
you know,
Then you
So
got
we haven't-
we
we haven't
do
seen
something
him.
with the War Raiders. Then if the War Raiders retain, which I like the War Raiders, I really do. But if they retain, you need to do something with it.
what is he going to be, the manager or something? That's the thing.
Now let's just bring Sarah Logan back for that.
I think she's on maternity.
Valhalla.
Yeah, barefoot.
So we all said, so 4-2.
4-2.
All right, Cody, you're going to be the recipient to this one to lead us off here. Well, let's just go right to the other women's, to
I feel
other
like
tag
we
team
practically
match.
already answered that one.
Yeah, we did. What, Liv Morgan and Raquel against Bailey and Lyra?
Yeah.
I think we should just knock that one out too.
Yeah. We're already in the
Well,
tag.
So which one
Yeah,
are we answering out
Cody.
here?
Yeah.
The women's tag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
Flash
I say Bailey and Lyra. Why not?
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a turn. We could
Oh, yeah,
put
that's
titles
where
on
I'm
them and then turn them later.
Pushing her away in the hug.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is I look at fucking Liv and Raquel and I just see Shawn and Diesel, and it fucking hilarious.
They could run
It's
with
kind of
that
like that.
for a
Yeah.
while.
That's the point. I mean,
Yeah.
she wears like the sunglasses. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm a bad guy now, so I'm gonna put the
Got
sunglasses
her arms
on.
crossed.
Yeah, she just follows Liv around like Diesel did. I'm like, what are we doing here? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we
You
go
said
for-
Bailey?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bailey Lyra on this
Okay.
one.
All right.
You?
They had an outing in that gauntlet match. They didn't they sweep the whole thing? They
Yeah.
beat like 4 teams.
Yeah.
That was a little
5.
forced and absurd. Just to like, I think
Oh, for
I think
sure.
there's only 5 in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think it's to try to show that they're unified and strong, just to swerve you even more when Bailey turns. Because I don't know, like my prediction is I think Judgment Day is going to be dripping in some gold after this because I think Dirty Dom's going to win. But
We'll get to
to
that.
that.
Yeah.
But, that's why I also think Liv and Raquel are going to retain. And again, I think Bailey showed signs of it when she pushed Lyra away and then was like, oh, shit, okay. And then went to shake her hand. And Lyra did it hesitantly, but so I think, it's Raquel and Liv just got him not that long ago. They're doing good work. Liv's killing it. I mean, the last year she's been killing it. And I think, just Judgment Day is going to keep going. And it's crazy that they're still going a completely different version than what they started with. But I think they're going to be dripping in some gold. And Bailey's going to turn on Lyra after they lose. Maybe with Lyra taking the pin. And that causes Bailey to.
I could see something
Take
like that
her.
happening.
But.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, I'm a big fan of like all of them. Like Raquel, I'm not sold on necessarily,
Yeah.
but I like the other 3 quite a bit. You know. That said, I feel like Bailey and Lyra were kind of just tossed in together to get them on the card, and it doesn't feel like Liv and Raquel are going to lose the belts to me. You know, it just doesn't feel like we built it. Like it's way too quick, and Bailey and Lyra don't feel like enough on the same page.
Yeah, they'd be a team that if they did win the titles, they'd probably drop them sometime within a month. Like,
Yeah.
they're that one of those type of tag teams.
Yeah, and I like both of them a lot.
And you don't want hot potato those.
I
tag
do
titles.
think so that it'll lead
They
to
do.
hopefully
I know.
escalating the women's intercontinental title picture because
Have them
it
feud.
might have them feud, and that could be dope.
you had Bailey win it, and then a heel Bailey with the IC title, which would help elevate it, you know,
Yeah.
with her status.
But yeah, I'm going Liv and Raquel for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same. Liv and Raquel to retain the titles, and I could see them being a team for a while. Like, you know, Liv just came off of her, like we were saying, it was like the best year of her career, really.
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely was.
I think that'll keep her somewhere. So like nobody seems to keep the women's tag titles very long. So I don't know how long it's gonna go, but
Or
I do
they
think
get hurt.
yeah. But I do
That's
think
been the other curve.
they'll
Yeah.
walk out of Mania retaining them. And like that's another thing I'm keeping an eye on because I'm like, how many belts do I really think are going to change hands? I don't really think a lot of them are going to. You know what I mean?
But you could make a
Certainly-
case that all of them could.
Certainly not
Yeah.
more than half, in my opinion,
Yeah.
from what I've seen so far. I don't know what the actual number is whenever we go through all these matches, but some of them I'm seeing, I'm like, I can 100% see the champion retaining in these matches. This is one of them, but same as we've been saying about the tag titles in general, like the matches are kind of put together to feature the teams, and they should be, but you know, there's one that's entirely left of the card. So eventually, I'm sure they'll get back to one tag team title for the men. I just think that's all you have quality teams for, if that. I mean, you can't eliminate the tag division, but like you don't have that many teams to do, you know, all that shit with.
Or TV time.
No. But yeah, I think that's the consensus so far, except one. It's Liv and Raquel.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I'm going with Liv as well. Because, I mean, I feel like it's just going to set up Bailey to try to get the Intercontinental and get the heel turn, you know? I mean, I don't really see any other reason why, especially because, you know, Liv's so over being a heel right now, so why fuck it up? And she's so bad.
That laugh she's been doing lately, like, ha ha! Like,
Yeah, it's
just kills me,
ridiculous.
dude. So, it's so over the top, but I love it.
The Mono Liva in Italy.
Yeah.
That was hilarious
So that's
too.
5-1 then?
No,
No.
you still gotta go. 4-1. E, what do you got? Do you even give a damn about this match?
I really don't. That's why it was a rough pick.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. My supporters know I don't. Whatever Raquel Rodriguez does, I don't know, man. She just got no aura on the television screen for me to like
Facts.
care that much. So it's just like, okay, they put her there. Okay, the Judgment Day with everything that they're doing, it's not like how it used to be. So they're trying to get this over. They got the stuff with Finn and Dom going on that we'll probably touch on later. But it's just like, okay, for us to even like care or even try to care about this, they needs to get this win. And you go in the direction of Bailey and Lyra fighting for the Intercontinental, probably at Backlash or something. You try to get this over. Because let's be honest, they really didn't put that much effort into this feud going into it. You put them in a mischief tag team. Now you're trying to get this over with an audience. Why do we care about it? And they not really trying to like get this over as much. But it's gonna be a good match nonetheless.
Mhm.
But Bailey needs to turn heel. I think it's not stale yet, but I feel like they need to capitalize on it to get all of this over to where it makes sense, because not that much of us really care about going into it, but it's gonna be a good match.
Yeah, that would be the most like talked about thing to come out of the match for sure. Like, I mean, obviously she turns after that. All right, so that's 5-1, but I don't know how strongly you necessarily feel about Bailey winning the title or not, Cody.
It can happen.
He had to throw a curveball out there.
Yeah. Well, no, that's what I was saying. I was like, he may have voted.
Sometimes.
He may have voted for that, but I don't know exactly like if you felt strongly about it. I don't think
I
anybody
really
felt that
don't.
strongly. I think we were just kind of looking at the story and we're like, well, it's logical. But I almost feel like there's a little more for like, Liv and Raquel like there to keep doing what they're doing and go through some of the teams that are thrown together for a while. I think next we're gonna pivot to the Sin City Street Fight. Ethan, what do you think? Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. This is at least a year in the building, really.
Yeah,
Truly.
It's been pretty cool to see this feud go from like when they first started hinting it. I guess I'm going back to Rumble when Drew eliminated, Damian eliminated Drew. I mean, the story goes back a lot further, but around that time, that's when you're like
They reignited it.
Yeah, especially with Rumble matches, whenever somebody eliminates someone, and especially if they have a bad reaction afterwards, you're like, oh, maybe a match. And that's how it felt then. Then you had the chamber elimination of Damian to Drew, and then Drew Claymore afterwards. So at that point, people were like, what is this? Like, and even Drew, there were reports that he was complaining about having the match and thought he deserved more, which in my opinion he does. Unfortunately, when you do get names like Cena and Punk and Roman on the card, it's hard to argue being in their spot rather than them. But after the year Drew had last year, I mean, he had the feud of the year with CM Punk. And
no titles on the line at all.
And also think about this: for I'd say 75% of that feud, Punk wasn't there. Drew was carrying it with promos on his own, and also social media stuff. Like he made a tweet or whatever it was in the middle of his match last year. Like just the lengths he was going to keep the feud going. Like Drew's been killing it. It's been good to see him finally reach this point of like, hey, I got everything figured out. I'm finally, cheesy as it is, the chosen one. I guess Vince did see something, but you have to figure it out. But no, I think Damian's gonna have a good showing, but I think it's gonna be Drew. Drew needs a win. He had a lot of losses last year. Damian, no disrespect to him, I think he also needs the win. I think they both need the win. But when you look at who needs it more, especially if Drew wins this, Drew immediately could be pushed into the title picture for on SmackDown, and then I guess at that point we'll get to that whether
he needs the title at this point. I feel like bad.
But Drew's the perfect heel, especially with his look and his size. Yeah, I mean Damian's better as a heel in my opinion.
Drew is, and I'm not saying other people
Damian's trying
aren't,
to figure it out as a face.
but Drew is peaking right now. Like I'm not saying he's got this part of his prime. It's probably going to last another few years.
Capitalize.
You have to, because this is at least last year, maybe the year before, he entered it,
right?
And he's there.
Especially
this is the best. This is the most interesting he's ever been. I don't think any of us disagree.
And I do like how they took the story and started tying things into it. And like I was saying, it went from just everyone being like, oh, I don't like this at all. I don't like where this is going. Again, reports of McIntyre even saying he didn't like it too. Now, once they start showing all the vignettes and the tiebacks to a year ago, people are like, oh, these callbacks are awesome. This feud looks cool. And even some of their beatdowns have been brutal. Like there was one, I can't remember when it was, but one of the first beatdowns Drew gave to Damian after Chamber was it was so good. He left Damian lifeless in the ring. I'm like, dude, if they just go out there and just two big men who are also agile just beat the hell out of each other.
Street fight, right?
Oh yeah, they're gonna have
is that a first
on a show?
Slaughter, and so. But I'm gonna go with Drew. I think they both need the win. I think they both do, especially Damian, who's still trying to find himself as a face. But after the year he had taken a lot of the losses he did, Drew needs it. Yeah, and if he doesn't win, you have a chance to create a title contender right now. If Damian wins, it's still going to be well, if you put him against one of the world champions, he doesn't seem as much of a threat as Drew would be. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? I would think Drew would be more of a chance to win a world title at this point, but no disrespect to Damian.
Yeah. I think Damian deserves the spot. He had a great year last year too. He was world heavyweight champion for a while. I think Damian's worked his ass off. So him and Drew being put together in a match feels right. It doesn't feel like some people complained about it, but it's what else would you want Drew doing? This feels like a good spot. Damian deserves to be there too, He deserves a spot at Mania this year. That said, Drew's winning the match. I think Drew's gonna have a strong 2025 because like you said, rivalry of the year last year.
But he carried most of it.
But he lost that rivalry.
Yes.
So he lost a lot last year.
Yeah.
So he needs to win.
Phenomenal doing so.
a lot this year.
Yeah.
And I feel like 2025 is going to be a year for Drew. So he's going over at Mania. It's going to be a great match, though. The street fight element added to it. You're probably going to beat the hell out of each other.
Well, that's the thing. Damien can look strong in losing too.
Oh yeah, he's probably going to beat the hell out of him.
Yeah.
But what I see going forward is like Drew's a very strong possibility, very confident saying like a world title contender. Damien, I could also see going that route, but I could also see him going for USIC, whatever mid card it is. Like Damien's also at that point. So I think they're at, like you said, Tim, capitalize on the peak. You got it. They're at different points in their career, even though I think Damien's older. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little older.
Is 2-0 Drew,
2-0 Drew.
and I am going to make it 3-0 because I do think it's Drew's time to have a big win, and like he can come out of this looking great, and like regardless of when he gets his title shot, if he does win a world title this year, which very well might happen, I think it's really important for him to enter after being embarrassed last year. I think he enters and it has just a strong showing. Like regardless of even what he's done at Mania before, this could be one of the best wins of his career, depending on how all out this street fight is. You know, I'm glad they at least added a stipulation to one of the matches. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is one of the ones I actually feel, even though it is a toss up, there's too many reasons pointing. Damien's obviously in the match, so he could win, but there's too many signs pointing to me to suggest that Drew is going to win the match, and I feel really confident about that. At least 8 out of 10 that Drew's going to win. That's the way I feel.
I'd go 9 out of 10.
I mean, I just hope they beat the living shit out of each other.
For sure.
And I hope that there's, some kind of corny Vegas stuff going on, like slammed on a slot machine or something.
that'd be
You know what I mean?
sick.
Like a blackjack table or something.
This
like
bet
power
that-
slammed on a blackjack
Tony Khan's
something.
gonna be pissed.
Like
They should definitely utilize there's the backstage area, fucking everything.
they gotta have some Vegas setups, and it's the Sin City street fight.
As long as it's better than what they call that, the lights out match they just did with
Oh, you love that.
No,
I'm
haven't seen it. And I'm like,
No, it was Bray Wyatt
the
and
other-
fucking
no,
LA Knight.
What do they call the fucking?
The
that was the pitch.
unsanctioned.
That was the pitch
Yeah,
black.
that was the pitch
Oh,
black.
yeah.
I'm talking about the unsanctioned one they just did. And they were like,
match.
they're gonna do so much, and I'm like, he knocked the trash can over. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, he did get. He got
Until
like,
the
bad
very
slam
last
on
2 seconds of that
fucking
match.
table.
Yeah, until that last 5 minutes, the whole thing was like, what are we doing here? This is one of our 4 matches for the night?
Yeah.
Why is this one of our 4 for the night?
So you hope they beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, I hope
in all those
they
rounds.
beat the living shit out of each other, and some corny fucking, like I said, Vegas stuff, and all that. When it comes to the street fights, and have they ever done a Sin City? I mean, I don't think a Sin City
No.
street fight's ever happened.
I don't think
So it's got to be something Vegas related, like a blackjack table or a slot machine or
you can
something.
only have it there.
Yeah, so it's I don't know, but I think Drew needs it the most. So I think they're both. I like them more than I expected to. So I mean, I'm here for it, and it should be a good match. It'll be exciting. Something probably right in the middle of what day is that on?
Saturday.
Is that? I thought that was a Sunday match.
Hold on.
Tim, you're going over the card.
That's Sunday.
Yeah, it is.
It is
Sunday.
okay.
Yeah,
So,
that's similar.
I think it's just gonna be kind of middle of the card, just something fucking
Yeah,
random
it's
and
probably
different
3
to
or
kind of
4.
break your brain up from the normal standard.
Yeah, according
Match
to
to
the
keep
report,
your
it's
attention.
4 of 6, but 7 would make the Randy match on the second night, so it's kind of middle of the night.
Okay, so exactly.
Bleacher
Yeah,
Report's
literally
got it
exactly
lined
what I
up.
expected it to be because it's a break between the traditional matches.
Yeah.
So
This goes. The break comes right before that. That is the AJ Styles Logan Paul match. That is your get up and leave for 20
Oh, that
minutes
match is
on
gonna
that one.
Dude,
fire.
dude, phenomenal forearms off the edges and stuff are gonna be fucking wild. They're gonna pulverizer.
Yeah.
The pulverizer.
And Paul.
So you said
Drew.
You said Drew. Okay,
Yeah.
so that is. What is that? How many? You haven't win either.
No, I
So
haven't.
that's 4-0 Drew. E, what do you got? We haven't even really discussed this that much.
I like both superstars. Love them both. But honestly, booking wise, a booking choice. If Cody does win. Drew needs a challenger. He's on SmackDown. I just honestly think the perfect way is to make him win this match. And there you go, setting up Cody's next opponent if he beats John Cena. So I say 1%. I think Drew is going to win this match. And I seen he was styling an eye patch the other day.
Yeah.
And they've been building up towards this feud.
And he worked everybody.
Yeah, he worked everybody and revealed that his eye was perfectly fine. Before that, they had a parking lot incident, and Drew got put through the car windshield by Damien, and he had glass in his eye. And then Punk came. They were doing like a reference towards the other company, Real Glass.
Yeah.
So honestly, Drew wins this match. It's gonna be a good match nonetheless. I think honestly, you gotta put like environmental objects into this, like Vegas stuff.
A pull stick.
Yeah, I mean, anything.
Like a blackjack table.
Throw playing cards at you. Like, hey, 52 pickup. You guys remember that game?
You gotta make it fit the theme.
Yeah, 100%. It's something corny's gonna happen. It's gonna be stupid, but it's gonna be great.
You got to.
Yeah. I'm here
It'll
for
be
it.
a fun time.
So what do you? I mean, ultimately, where are you going?
I'm like,
Here's a question though for everybody: aren't you more excited that this match, like that it's happening this year? Like you're more excited this year that it's happening than you would have been a year ago, and that speaks higher for both guys.
Because all the stuff between last year's Mania and this year's Mania.
Yeah,
it's-
they had a
Well,
lot.
that, but I mean, the
Damien
guys
fucked
in
them
the
over a
match.
lot.
Oh, yeah.
You're more excited because they've done things to build Damien up. They've done things to keep Drew interesting, and maintain it. So it's just like,
Well, yeah, a year ago he had the Money in the Bank, and people were wondering if he was gonna be like a Baron Corbin with the money.
this does feel like a true kind of more personal issue between
It's
two
a
main
revenge
eventers.
match, right? I mean, you gotta fuck them up.
Like a grudge match.
Yeah, it's like, if you let him get fucked over by Priest that many times and then let him lose again, you're like, what the fuck's the point?
And honestly, give Drew the bigger win at Mania, give him the moment.
But we
Have him
can't.
fight again at Backlash and give Damien the win there.
We're kind of getting to the point where they've all kind of feel that way. So
Backlash
some
is just
fucky's
easier
gonna happen.
matches.
Some fucky's gonna happen.
But yeah, no, I just want to say that because I'm like, I definitely feel like that speaks higher for the guys. And I know this is probably one of the matches that you're might not be one of the most. I don't know, maybe it is one of the most looking forward to. You think? Because I know you said both main events, like everybody, they're high on those two.
me personally, I actually like DP. That's my boy. In the words of R-Truth, I actually like what they're doing with it. They've been building up Drew as this villain, so it's just like it works. He did it with Punk. That was probably the best feud of that year. So for him to be with a Damian Priest, they're both big. We've seen what they can do down in NXT, especially Damian Priest. I think it's gonna be a good street fight. And honestly, if there's any low points during the night, I feel like this match could possibly get the crowd involved and energetic for remainder of matches after that.
It would be a perfect middle of the show match.
I think, literally change of pace.
Yeah. Well, so ultimately, who's going over? You think?
Honestly, they call Damian Priest a street fight, king. He took out Gunther last year. I'm going with the wild card. I'm going Damian Priest.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just you, huh?
It's just me.
It's
We're going
just
Drew.
you.
For once in my life, I'm picking Drew in a match.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Every other time we've had a Drew in a match, I'm like, no, I can't fucking
You haven't
stand
been
Drew.
confident about it. This
No.
one, I feel pretty confident.
And
about.
honestly, this one could go either way, and I still wouldn't be upset.
Yeah.
Because both of them are going to come out looking good because of everything else, of all the street fight aspect. If it was just a plain match, I don't know. But add the street fight in, they're both going to look good coming out of it. They're going to hopefully beat the shit out of each other.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got to see a bloody mess.
Yeah, I need a Gunther Jimmy level of just blood, just everywhere.
Yeah.
I need a good just ass whooping.
Sticking by your guns, E, huh? Damian Priest.
DP.
All right, 5, to 1. Actually, I already know
He
what we're
goes,
gonna
oh. The freaky goes, oh.
Somebody said DP.
I was looking at the match card and I think I figured out the next one for us. So I guess Elijah would start off. All right, Jade Cargill and Naomi.
I have no
Well,
opinion on this.
dude,
I don't either.
I think
History though.
that
History
I
for
am.
what?
I'm excited.
It's the first one, like one-on-one women's match at Mania that's not for a title.
That is true.
And it's
Really?
Yeah, and it's 2 black women. So
That is also true.
Yep. So history in that regard.
That
I still
said,
don't care. I hate Jade Cargill. I
The
just
story's
hate her.
been
Oh
dope.
man.
The story's been dope.
All right. Okay. What do you say?
Naomi, I like
I
the
like
change of
Naomi.
character. I think
I
the
like
heel shit's it was needed. It's kind of cool. Like there's something different about her now. I'm like, I'm glad we're doing something with her. I'm worried about this match. I still don't like. I don't dislike Jade. I'm just not confident that she can carry a one-on-one match at WrestleMania because I saw her stumble through some tag team matches on SmackDown last year. And I'm not like trying to necessarily poop on her because I think Jade can be a superstar. But that doesn't mean that I know for sure that she is there
Jade-
now. That
Plenty
said,
of people can
she's
be.
going over.
That doesn't mean they will be.
So
Yeah.
Jade 1-0.
I think Jade's winning the match though. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that are a little easier to answer. I think the whole thing's being set up 100% for Jade to get her revenge. I'm not as worried about her in the ring because I think it'll be.
I also think
I-
Naomi's great. So
Yeah,
she'll
well,
protect her.
I don't think that they'll. I don't think they're gonna have her take any unnecessary risks to hopefully they won't have to. They'll be able to mitigate some of the weaknesses, but I don't think the match is gonna go long enough for her
Yeah,
to look
that's
maybe
kind of what I was
too bad.
thinking.
But I think it's overall pretty dominant. Doesn't mean Naomi doesn't go over in the beginning of it, but I think at a certain point, Jade's just gonna start whooping her ass. Jade's just a physical specimen. She's not gonna. That's the kind of thing is we've talked about this too. Is Naomi is really talented, and it kind of seems like she's almost being resorted to that role that Natalya was for a long time, where she's just all right, well, you're gonna get over some of these
Yep, I mean,
next people, and that kind of feels like
she's getting to be a
what's
veteran at this
happening.
point too, right?
she is. No, she is,
She's
and
got-
she is.
Oh,
She's talented, but it's just
oh,
that's
reliable.
kind of what happened
Yeah,
to
at this
Natalya.
point.
You know what I mean?
Oh gosh, Natalya all the time.
But-
Just be getting
Natalya's
whooped.
regarded as one of the underrated goats.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. The
So-
women's division
Same
definitely.
Naomi.
So that said, I am. This is one of the more confidently. I said I was confident about Drew, but I'm, very even more so confident that Jade's gonna win because this whole thing's being set up for her to, get her revenge essentially, and just whoop Naomi's ass. I think that's pretty clear. So 2-0 Jade.
I think the story, like Ethan had talked about two women without a title being at Mania, that's super cool.
Yeah,
That's super awesome.
they
but,
should put emphasis on that
I mean,
fact
I feel like.
because they've only had title women's matches.
Yeah,
Mania.
I mean, I feel like that's pretty cool, and that is definitely exciting for the women's division.
Yeah.
But I'm just not interested in the match too much. But I mean, I'm gonna go with Jade just because I feel like she's got to start doing something at this point.
Mhm.
I mean, she's touted as the. I mean, I don't know the next. What would be a good comparison here? Batista style,
Well, they rolled out the
complete
red
domination.
Carpet. Yeah, they rolled out the red carpet when they signed her.
Yeah,
So I mean, they obviously.
she got teased for how long too
Yeah.
before she even showed up. For a while, right? So I mean, I feel like she's got to do something, and like Elijah said, I feel like Naomi's getting to the point where she might be getting beat up for a while to get people a little more relevant than her. But I feel like she's a good wrestler, so I'm here for it. But
Yeah.
My
Jade,
response to that is why bring her over from TNA then?
yeah,
Just so she can fill the role of person we can let
Yeah.
lose to get handed over?
yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Or she was promised something
But
different.
Yeah.
she's
I mean, you
still,
never
she's
know.
still
You
more
honestly never
relevant.
know.
She's still more relevant in the biggest pond.
I mean, like we just said,
money.
she got Mania.
Money.
if she wanted money, she could just go to AEW.
She's a solo match
She
in
has friends in
Mania.
WWE and her husband.
Ask Mercedes Moné. She
Ask
just
her
went there and got
husband, Jimmy
paid.
Uso.
But if it was about money, then she could have went to AEW and worked one day a month.
But then, yes, but I'm sure she's willing to take a pay cut to work with her husband.
But no, that's what I mean. That's
the
why
traveling
it's not.
schedule.
That's why it's not. But why wouldn't you rather work in the biggest pond than I'm one of the biggest people in the second or third or sixth biggest thing.
Yeah.
But it could
You're
also
gonna brag about
it could
that?
also been a difference of Vince versus Triple H. Because when she was
Yeah.
released, Vince was still in charge.
That is true.
But no, that's 100% part of it. But it's also because they've been just at an all-time high right now, and she came back like at a good time too.
Money.
E, what do you got? I know you're a big fan of Naomi,
Ah,
so it breaks your heart to hear that. I told you that though. I told you what happened. I was like, she's being resorted to that role, the same role Finn's in, by the way.
Which breaks my heart.
Same.
I love Finn, dude.
I don't even call Naomi no more. I call her Trinity. She's been on the best work since turning heel. The promos, the vignettes they've been showing has been great. They've been hyping this match up. I hate to say this, but Jade Cargill, this is probably what they're gonna do to put her over. I hate to say it. I want Naomi to win, but I just know
that's kinda how I feel.
booking wise, they're gonna give it to Jade, and I'm okay with it. It can go either way, nonetheless. But Jade Cargill's winning this match. A couple weeks ago, they did tease Jade and Charlotte having like a little like stare down. So there's probably some smoke to there. They did it once before, so maybe this is their way of teasing that. Depending on what happens with Charlotte and Tiffany. So I'm going Jade Cargill to win this match.
I mean, do we think she's ready for Charlotte on the big stage like that?
No, I don't think it has to happen necessarily soon. It could still happen another year from now or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you're not wrong.
And they say Triple H is like more long-term booking.
Yeah.
Than Vince.
Yeah.
Like Vince was like 3 months at a time, and they say like Triple H is like a year out. Like probably looking at next year's name.
He probably knows what the end goal is, and he's like, "This is roughly what they're going to be
Yeah.
doing," and then he just kind of fills in the
They
gaps.
sent the headliner
about
of the
that.
feud
Going
in
from a
advance.
boss that has things planned out 3 months at a time, who also would then just change it at a whim, to a guy who has everything planned out a year ahead and keeps it pretty concrete. Like
It's pro wrestling. So
It is
things
hard
get
to though
shuffled
because of
yeah,
injuries.
all the time.
You know,
Yeah,
that's always
yeah.
switches your game plan up.
I mean, there's also backstage stuff that people don't talk about. People
Yeah.
just be
Yeah.
fucking assholes. Like, fuck you. I mean, if you're not gonna try it, if you're
But
not
see,
gonna give
that's
us
why
effort, we're
Punk-
not gonna book you that way.
Now that CM Punk's been back there, he realizes that a corporate environment like WWE, and that's another thing, is just it's a way more mature place than AEW is, where everyone has creative control,
Yeah,
so
and
no
you
one wants to
kinda
put
do-
anyone over.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like WCW towards the end,
yeah.
and that's not a good place to be in right now.
Well, Cody too.
Yeah.
Like, look at Cody's
You
exit
know?
and then him going.
And look at Punk. Now he's gonna have a much better ending than he would have had.
Oh, 100%.
and other superstars, Ethan Page,
So-
Ricky Starks.
You know what's crazy is they
Saints.
could have built a Cody versus CM Punk match. Oh, you guys are the guys that left, and they could have done that in AEW, made it a huge fucking match, and they dropped the ball big time on that.
Well, like he said, what, 2 weeks ago on Raw, Cody did?
And the
So
same,
left the company he got booed out of.
two of the same people that drove CM Punk out, I guarantee, were instrumental in driving Cody out, and you know exactly who those people are.
Some twins wearing sneakers.
It's the same reason why Elijah's grinning and
They're
chuckling.
not twins.
Because he
sorry.
likes
They're
them.
brothers.
I
No,
mean,
I like
them
to
as
some
a tag
degree.
team. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if they. I wouldn't want them to be my damn boss. Yeah, you know.
Kenny seems alright.
Well, Kenny said he would have worked with Punk over there, but
Yeah.
but in Punk would have worked with the Bucks. The Bucks didn't want to work with Punk
Yeah.
because he kicked their asses.
He's not UFC tough, but he is black belt and like Brazilian jiu-jitsu tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're like
Not
5 foot 8,
UFC tough.
so
I'm
It's not
5
gonna
foot
go well.
6.
well, I mean, you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
he's in a better situation. Like honestly, the fact that he's been back there and there's not like a whole lot of shit or heat, and everybody seems happy to have him back there.
Yeah.
He just kind of needed the right environment. Now is some of that for sure his fault too for just spouting off. But here's the thing: everyone knows he's like that. So when he went off like that, why was anybody shocked? He is outspoken and very polarizing. So like, you're not going to agree with everything he said or done, like did or how he carried himself.
Fucking
But
children.
I know a lot of that had to do with the environment that they're currently still in over there, and they've never recovered since he left. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. what the hell were we on? We said Naomi, and so you gave yours.
That's me.
They both
All right,
said,
so yeah, you two.
Yeah.
So we all say Jade so far.
Yep.
Yeah.
4-0.
Quick flash. Yeah, Jade. Agree with what you said. I think they got more invested in her long term. They showed the stare down with Charlotte. So I don't think that's immediate. I don't even think that's like SummerSlam or Survivor Series. I think that could be.
Hold on, we can start booking SummerSlam now, though.
Oh god. We were so wrong. But yeah, no, Jade, no disrespect to Naomi, but I do think that Naomi, if anything, it's a lot of props to Naomi because she's probably going to carry this thing a lot.
Yeah.
But again, you know, we're saying that about Jade, but we haven't seen Jade in one-on-one competition in a while. She's just been doing beatdowns or squashes, and so like we haven't seen her in an actual match in a while. She's gone for a bit. I know she had was she hurt?
Stop being a
No, it's just
fucking
storyline.
asshole to everybody.
Well, the stuff with Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
we were talking
I think
about
there might have been some injury to that.
But yeah, no, I mean she was gone for a bit with that whole injury, storyline. But hopefully in that time, and also while she has been here, continues to train, has been training. So hopefully what we saw a year ago isn't what we see now. I would hope in a year's time you see improvement. But no, I think Naomi's going to carry it a lot. I love her new gimmick though, like the whole like take caution or whatever.
Yeah. Proceed
that-
with caution.
Proceed with caution, yeah. I think that's going to be really good. But no, Tim, I agree with you. I think she's going to be the next generation's Natalia of just, hey, you can go out there, put on a great match, and
Still lose.
you're not going to win a lot, but
Yeah.
hey, you're all reliable.
Well, and she might have another couple reigns in her or whatever, but it just doesn't feel like, you know what I mean? Like they're going to look to her as the future necessarily.
She might have one more women's title as like just a transactional type heel reign, but
or put a new star over
Yeah.
in that role.
or maybe in the long run, I don't know, if she goes back to the glow thing, which was like a merch seller.
I love that.
The
Coming
glow
from-
stuff
as a
was
raver,
cool.
you know,
It was
the
cool.
that shit was cool. Her
Yeah.
entrance was awesome. You know, the kids and everybody loved it. You
When
know,
she had that glow
it was
belt,
electric, literally. You know,
The
so
glow
like
belt.
I fucked with it. That shit was
Yeah,
lit.
in like 2017 or whatever it was, 2018, she won the women's title and then she
Yeah.
made awesome
Decked
light up.
out,
That
yeah.
was cool.
Yeah, I agree entirely.
Was that a complete clean
Squash,
sweep?
yeah.
No, we skipped because
Cody-
we went
Cody's
from
gotta
we went
go.
from that other
Okay.
conversation straight
Well,
to
no, I think I was gonna say and then we started talking.
yeah,
on the
no,
AEW
it's not, I
conversation.
mean, it is
Oh.
a sweep. It is Jade. Like that's
Yeah.
I kind of want to see them like just short match, just squash it. Just it's over, just done.
Yeah,
Just why
just
not?
move on.
You don't have to have all good long length matches
Mm-hmm.
on fucking WrestleMania. It's 7 matches deep for one night. We're gonna fucking be
Yeah.
there all night if everybody puts on a 20-minute match.
I think
Yeah.
like 5-7 minutes.
Probably.
Somewhere in
Yeah.
that range.
At least give Naomi some offense, but make it mainly a Jade getting her revenge, just beating the fuck out of her.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm supposed to
It's
start
you.
off the next round here. Let's go with the U.S. title match. L.A. Knight and Jacob Fatu. And I'm going to go with Jacob Fatu to win the belt. I think it's time, and I also think it does two things, as we were discussing earlier, because he's going to get the mid-card title, secure his first, independent championship in the company, and see, this is the
Ascending
conflicting thing, because I think that this could propel LA Knight for a world championship title match. You know what that
think we
does
should
though?
have done
That
forever
works better as a Cena heel champion. And there's going to be a conflict of these throughout like the rest of the card and stuff tonight. So we were talking about the Drew Damian thing, because I don't know. I think like if he goes to the main event scene, we could definitely see face LA Knight and heel Cena if Cena were to win that match, that has obviously a huge effect on everything. Is it's the main event for WrestleMania, for Christ's sake. But I definitely think this is another one that I'm fairly more confident about too, and I think that's going to be a title change. I think it happens at WrestleMania. And Ricky, it's up to you now. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know, to be honest. Maybe Fatu's gonna win. I mean, that would be my guess, because I think he's gonna be a main event guy. But I don't really have much of an opinion, to be honest.
That's much of an opinion.
I really do.
Both these guys are dope, man.
I mean, they are. I didn't say that. But
Why are they on the card? Get them out of here.
that's not what I'm saying.
Do you have a backing for whichever one you think is gonna win?
I just feel like LA Knights just always loses every time something's relevant. I mean, anytime anything of relevance happens, he loses.
He could lose.
He won at Mania and SummerSlam last
He could
year.
lose the U.S. title and be elevated to the main event after he puts Jacob Fatu over.
So do you
And
think that
he could challenge for say Cena does win the belt from Cody. He could be
I
a
mean, that
challenger.
would be a pretty fucking exciting setup.
That's what I mean. I'm like,
In
losing
terms
the
of,
IC belt doesn't mean he's gonna just stay mid card. Sometimes you lose the title and you're
US.
shot up. That's what always used to happen.
I mean,
But
Yeah,
That's
it used to be a
honestly-
stepping stone.
yeah,
that would be good because I mean, LA Knight's been there. LA Knight's been waiting a little bit longer to get his shot. So I feel like whoever the thing is, it's like I almost feel like whoever loses kind of wins. You know, in the long run, I feel like whoever wins kind of like, hey, stay in the mid card, and then whoever loses is like, go do bigger things.
Yeah, like the lower main event.
Yeah. So I mean, so is winning really a good one in this match?
For Jacob Fatu. I
in the
think
short
it's-
term.
Yeah. I don't know, but I'm going with Fatu.
All right. Well, it's 2-0. E, what do you got?
I'm happy to say this. Jacob Fatu is winning this match. It's well overdue. He needs to win. This can catapult him. They tried to do it with Solo. It didn't work. We already knew that putting Jacob Fatu in that group, he was going to outshine Solo. So, with the simple fact of putting him in this match now, you can 100% confirm that Jacob Fatu is winning this match. They've been teasing the whole thing with Solo, of him possibly turning on him, and Tama and all that, to make us kind of get importance and get the ball rolling. Let Jacob Fatu win this belt. Solo somehow, being jealous of it, and now you make that into a match, possibly Backlash or something to get it over. But nonetheless, Jacob Fatu's winning this match. Love LA Knight, but he's just in that cycle where we see a lot of guys be at is you transitional, you just get it, and we already know, okay, you're gonna lose it the next run, and it's nothing to him. It's just they dropped the ball on it, especially at Money in the Bank a couple years back when he was supposed to win. He didn't win, and now his career is just kind of like dwindling a little bit.
The best thing for him absolutely would be, I mean, if he won, that would be good too. But like, I don't think it'd be better. I think it would be for sure if he loses the match and then is elevated within like the next few months in the main event, like challenging for one of the world titles for sure. Because then you'd be kind of see him as a serious contender, and you wouldn't even think about the fact that he doesn't have the title anymore. You know what I mean? I don't think it's necessarily about the title. I think it'd be perfect if it works that way. But that's also my opinion. But it sounds like we're 3-0 right now. What do you got, Cody?
We're taking 4-0 because it's Jacob all day. He said, he is the shining member of what is left of the bloodline. The minute they signed him, I was like, yeah, there's your new guy of the group.
He's over with the crowd too.
Yeah, he came in with everybody loving him.
Dope.
Yeah.
Like Umada vibes.
Yes.
Which is
Solo
chaos in
Yeah.
the ring, but he's awesome.
I feel like Solo tried getting the energy that Jacob has and just doesn't.
So are they just giving up on Solo at this point?
I think him and Jacob
He's
are going to
definitely taking a
feud.
back seat.
It's
They're gonna
just
be
it's kind of
living
bad
up to
because
the name.
Fatu
Solo.
like debuting made you realize all that was like missing from Solo. You're like, oh man.
It went from Solo being like the leader of the group and like the guy going for the Solo title, and like Jacob and Tom were having tag team matches. Now it's reversed and Solo's in.
No, Solo might be the filler for the Orton match. It's
Until
pretty much,
Tom is back,
maybe.
and then you
If
can have
Solo's in
Tonga.
that match, he's getting Moto.
Oh yeah.
And
that's for sure.
once Tonga's back, you have Tonga and Tama go for the tag, and if they're still together, have Jacob go for main event and Solo mid card. But I'm kind of
Who do you
I think
got?
eventually they'll turn. Yeah, Jacob, 5-0. yeah, I mean, you got to capitalize on it. The dude's white hot right now, popularity wise. He's a heel, but the crowd loves him.
Loves him, yeah.
Just because he's so good. Like, he's one of those guys, like, when Brock was the champion and Samoa Joe was squaring up to him, and Joe had, like, that promo, and he's like, you look at me when I'm talking to you. And, like, Brock, you know, like, stopped and looked at him. It's like, Joe should have won that, because Joe was, like, the only person at that time who believably could beat Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob Fatu has kind of that same energy of, like, he could just believably take on anyone, I think. Like, even Roman.
Yeah.
Like, I was more excited to see Roman face-to-face with him than probably Solo for sure.
He's
And-
like Fatu's way more of like a 5-tool player than
Yes.
Solo is.
Mhm.
Solo's
Yes.
got like 2 or 3 tools.
Plus, he's old.
Yeah, oh my
Plus, he's
gosh.
old.
That's like probably the best way to put it.
Fatu's older, so capitalize on it.
How old is Solo?
Solo's like early 30s, I think.
I think Fatu's only like
There's like not 7 to 9 years between Solo and the Usos, because they're brothers. Yeah, I think Solo's early 30s. Jacob's approaching 40, I think. I could be wrong. Don't quote me.
So
But
you're
yeah.
taking him as well.
Right, back
Yeah,
Everyone
and,
thinks that he's winning the belt.
for a little bit,
32.
for a little bit
Well, I
there,
still got.
I didn't
Oh, yeah,
choose.
yeah, yeah.
I didn't choose
I know
Jacob
this is
probably
gonna be
until I didn't choose Jacob probably until this week or within the last week. Going up to it, I was kind of thinking that like Solo would cost him the match or turn on him, and
yeah,
Elliott would retain.
it's starting.
But I did like kind of think
I could
about
see
what
that happening.
I did think about this earlier in the week, and then E mentioning it, like Jacob could still win, have Solo turn on, then you still get the turn, you still get the feud, but this time it's for the title. You know, like if they're gonna feud, might as well, you know, better to have Jacob have the title and feud with Solo than not have the title.
I'm sad for LA Knight though, because I'm like, what are
Yeah.
we gonna do with him?
But he's so popular, dude, that like
Yeah, he's so
he'll bounce
popular.
back. He'll
He
bounce
needs
back.
to
He's-
do something.
Yeah, but
though.
I
Like,
almost
losing the
feel like
US
he's got,
belt,
like,
where's he
the
gonna go?
biz.
But the main card is so
Yeah.
the main card is so stacked that it's hard for names like we were saying with Drew, like come Mania. Drew arguably should have a main world title match at Mania.
again.
But when you got big names
Like
like
the next
that,
few years.
yeah, when you got big names like that, it's tough for LA Knight to crack through it. I mean, I think his crown jewel match against Roman might be the highest he'll ever reach, unfortunately. But he'll bounce
It
back.
kind of sucks
just
for him
to
that he
take
has so
the
many big
complete
names
inverse,
to argue or fight with
I'm
right
not
now.
going to do it. I'm going Fatu.
Yeah.
I
There's a small
love
caveat.
Fatu. I think he's awesome in the ring. He's a great character, and yeah, kind of like you said, like he is hot. Not like right now. Why not capitalize on it? I just don't like you were kind of saying earlier, Tim. It's just like how many titles are gonna change hands?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So there's also that because I think, you know, a couple of the other titles could still change hands that we haven't talked about. So it's like
I feel more confident about the IC changing hands than the US.
that's what I'm saying. I feel more confident that Braun's gonna drop the belt probably
Yes.
than that LA Knight's gonna drop the belt.
Even if
But
it was
I am gonna
one-on-one,
say
like
Fatu.
yeah, even if it was like one-on-one Braun versus any of the 3 other guys on the Fatal 4-Way, I'd feel more confident about Braun losing his IC title. Because whether it was Finn,
We'll get
maybe
to
not Finn.
Yeah.
No, I just like want to touch on like
Yeah.
just every card changing hands. I mean, it's tough because it makes sense. Like I said, you can make an argument that every title could change hands, but you know it's not.
That's
going
what
to.
they want you to believe, though, too.
Right.
You gotta remember how many times they always walk in, and so many people still walk out with their title.
Oh,
It
yeah.
You know what?
happens all the time.
I'm
Especially
gonna
with-
take the
with
inverse.
Backlash.
I'm going LA Knight.
Oh,
I'm
he's
switching my vote. I'm gonna be the
The
one.
thing I keep forgetting about is
I'm gonna go LA Knight.
is Backlash is always used as like Mania rematches. And
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
It's always
that,
like,
I mean the WrestleMania Backlash. It used to
Backlash,
actually
right.
be called WrestleMania Backlash, didn't it?
yeah.
I think it's like
Yeah.
a year or two.
I'll never forget it. I was
No,
like,
it's
"Are you
only-
kidding
it's
me?"
only
and he's like, I
I
think
mean, that
that's
was the
dumb as
idea
fuck.
behind it.
I
I mean,
think
that was
But,
like,
but everyone knew that Backlash meant the Backlash from WrestleMania.
yes, yeah, it was
Everybody
like,
knew that.
hey, Captain Dumbass.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
Captain
how it
Obvious.
was, like-
Yeah.
WrestleMania
Uh,
Backlash. It's like, how
So
the fuck
I
you know?
guess Ricky, I think we're back to you to start, right?
Yes.
AJ
AJ
let's
Styles.
just either we could do.
Take-
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's do
So
AJ.
that's 5-1, and he was he
The
just
outlier.
He just wanted to be.
He
the
just wanted to
outlier.
be different.
Well, no, I was like
No,
really.
you talked yourself
I
out
was
of it.
leaning
left
on the
us.
fence either way coming into this. That was one of those matches, and then I talked
Someone's
myself
got to.
back into LA Knight. So,
I mean, he's
Might
Lone
as well.
Island with Drew and Damien, so someone's got to be that.
and he's
wild
the Lone
card.
Island with Bailey
Yeah,
and Myra.
someone's
I
got
didn't
to.
care about that.
I think that's one of the more ones that just feels natural. Like Fatu's gonna pick up the belt. Like because
Yeah.
why wouldn't he? It's a Mania and it's a huge. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think either we'll take a break after this one, or I mean we could just either discuss the Randy one before we take a break or not.
I thought we were gonna do AJ and Logan.
No, yeah, that's what we're gonna do next. So yeah, AJ and Logan. You guys see a common theme with all the we talked about this with all the Logan matches and like his nemesis. It's always you don't belong here. You're a fucking YouTuber, blah blah blah. And then they're like, I've been doing this for 20 years.
It's like
always
the smiling douche that's like, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
2 years.
It works though, because like
He's good and he's really
He is
talented.
good. He is good. I'll give it to him. But AJ's got this one. I think that's gonna be a little. It's like an irrelevant outlier. Because AJ is the fucking man. AJ, when's the last time? This is another guy. When's the last time fucking AJ has a relevant fucking win in WWE?
well,
He's another guy that's just put.
He openly admitted that he's only got a couple years left,
When was
like
his last
a
Mania
year.
moment?
Exactly. When was his
beating
Mania moment?
Shane.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
And he beat
Well, yeah.
Shinsuke.
I feel like obviously you're looking at some crazy shit,
People
but I think
pissed.
that Logan's gonna. I mean, it's gonna be some crazy fucking corner to corner type phenomenal forearm where he fucking just catches him off guard and gets a fucking pin. I don't know.
That match, I mean, has
It's gonna be
go the most viral.
Fucking crazy.
I mean, it could be a great match.
It's gonna be 10 minutes of just crazy fuckness
Spot
and
fest.
AJ pushing his age. Because I mean, he's probably late 40s.
Well, yeah, he's already
He's
in
like
his
45.
Yeah,
He said
so
he's
I
got
mean-
like end of his contract, which
That's
is
what I'm
in, like,
saying.
2 years.
Yeah,
he
so,
said
like,
hard stop.
He's got to get at least something soon. Like, especially because, Logan Paul is gonna be Logan Paul whether he fucking wins or loses. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
As long as he does some exciting, crazy ass shit, he wins.
Yeah,
His
well, he
YouTube
keeps saying
wins.
He's a full timer, but if he
Yeah.
keeps in what he's not,
The
he keeps
problem
disappearing.
is-
But if he does this off and on again routine, he could be around for years.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
problem is Logan Paul has lost a lot of these big WrestleMania matches now.
And he's lost to a lot of guys.
So
But so is AJ, and AJ's significantly more relevant in my opinion.
yeah, I
In terms
it'll
of just the wrestling
it'll
world,
create a lot of
obviously.
buzz though too if he beats So I'm like, this is one that I definitely could be talked either way, and that's the thing. Well, I'm glad I'm not picking till last. That is
Honestly, I need Uncle AJ to win this match.
Uncle AJ, I like it.
Uncle AJ.
I love how you go into it like we talking like we're working everything, like you got money on it. You're like, yeah, I got money on
I got
AJ.
money on it. I'm a gambling man. AJ Styles wins this match. I love Logan Paul. I love the pulverizer. I love it all. But I'm an AJ fan until I die. I need AJ Styles
I love
to
him
win
so
this
much.
match. And I think it's gonna be a good ass match. A lot of people kind of like shitting on it and stuff. I'm like, AJ is small. He can still go. At the end of the day, Logan Paul, we've seen what Logan Paul has done in matches like this. So I think it's gonna be the best thing. I think it's probably the best underrated match to see, nonetheless from my point of view. So
Very underhyped. Yeah.
Well, it got a very short.
Got
build.
underbuilt
Yeah,
too.
Very
Yeah.
short build.
But this is what I'll say is like I know how closely he's working with Sean and everybody like that. Like Logan's not gonna do anything before it, like in the match. That's why it's gonna be so crisp because they probably went over it so many times.
Yeah.
Like exactly what he's gonna do because he's naturally like athletic, but he's not necessarily a natural wrestler.
He still has to be carried.
But so I'm like he definitely will be. He'll look best. Like he's gonna look great with AJ. You know what I mean? It's always cliche, but you go back to the phenomenal thing. Like he's just been doing it for so long. At
And
the
he's
very
been
highest
so
level.
fucking good for
Yeah,
so long.
and he's been insanely good.
AJ made James Ellsworth look good.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I hope you guys are right.
Fuck
Honestly,
James Ellsworth.
I would like to see
Everybody's got a
AJ.
fighting chance.
I would like to see AJ get a credible win for the first time in a long fucking.
Yeah.
Hopefully the bet pays off for you.
Yeah.
Hit my buttons.
Yeah.
Cody, what do you got?
2-0.
I thought you used to be a Logan guy. What's this like back talk
Okay.
about how you
No,
know?
no,
I don't
let's
want to
set the
watch
record
this
straight. Let's
match.
set the record straight here. I was a Logan guy for 2 seconds when he first came in because I wanted to see how well he would actually do. Or if he was just going to show up
And
and
he
be,
did damn good.
I'm Logan Paul, I have all this money, look at me, I'm going to show up and do this. And it was just going to be a couple matches and he was going to dip. And he showed up, he can wrestle. I still hate the fucking guy. Like, him and his brother are some of the worst fucking people in the world. So, but at the same time, can we stop fucking carrying him through everything? Can we stop giving him the special privilege of all this rehearsal for every single match to make sure he looks good when he wants to show up every couple of months? It's getting old at this point. Yeah, he's working with Sean. Cool. How long are we going to let him be carried by
Doesn't
Sean?
everybody work with Sean? So it's like...
Going through NXT.
Yeah, he runs
But
NXT.
he
We're
did-
going to NXT, but no,
So I'm
Sean's
saying,
been
you know?
doing the extra work with him.
Yeah.
They've been working these matches out
Yeah.
forever ago.
Every spot
so
that
it
he
looks-
does is fully gone over with it.
Yeah.
Every
So it's like, how long are we going to keep carrying him and giving him the special privilege to just get carried through everything?
We'll see how this
Hey,
full-time wrestler
let me
thing
ask you
goes
this.
year.
It's off
and
to
this is
bad
a fair
start.
question. Well, I was going to ask you that. You guys can all answer for this too, but like, let me ask you this though, unbiasedly. Has he ever, in one of his matches, let you down by the performance of the match? Has it
No,
ever been less
Because
than that?
there's no way to let somebody down when you've rehearsed it that many times through.
But
Go-
what do you
go-
want
go-
him to, what do you
you
want
can
him to be
still
doing
fuck it up.
better
You
than?
can. Like, yes, you can still fuck it up. But it's no different than going to see a play, a musical,
Yeah.
any of that. If you're rehearsing it that many times
It
through,
could be argued that that is what wrestling, not necessarily
Well, don't get
always,
me wrong, it is.
always
In a way, it
rehearsed that
is.
many times, but it is
It's
art and
theater in
you
a
know?
way.
yes,
Yeah.
it's theater in a way. But when you're doing the same exact thing over and over and over until it becomes muscle memory, that you have every timing down to a cue like that,
Mhm.
how long can we actually let him go like that before it becomes everything's too perfect? It all hits at the right time. And
When,
it's
when
not,
he's forced to call an audible in the ring or
Yeah,
somebody is
when,
he's
when,
like,
it-
"Bow."
when does something happen that he's forced to actually take the step to run?
Never, because he's going to work with the top tier talent, the people that have been doing
Okay,
it for
then
a
quit
long
giving
time.
to him.
That's the problem.
Quit
You know,
giving
that's
yeah, that's the other problem.
Too.
Quit giving all the top tier talent.
Give him right back.
No.
It's Ryback returns.
Retire.
That was what
That'll be
everyone
right next to
voted.
WrestleMania. He'll show up, he'll have the match on Mania, retire the next night.
He banned me out of his TikTok stream. I don't like that.
You get banned? How do you get banned?
I was
You've been
trolling
flagged from all these people.
I was trolling him. He didn't like what I was saying. Then I got banned. I was like, come on, dog. Like, I used to like you at a point in time. Now I see what Punk was talking about. Over there injuring people. And then say you didn't injure him.
I just remember the line where he's just like, I want you to say you either did it on purpose, or he dropped him on that like announce table and he like landed it the wrong way, or he missed it. He's like, you either admit that you did this on purpose, or you suck. And he's like, oh, I guess I just suck. Because like, I mean, you don't want to tell somebody else you did it on purpose in the ring, but that's why Punk was convinced that he did. I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't like him, but. It's all speculation. But I'll tell Ryback this, man. He's sure as hell not going to get another WrestleMania match.
He's not going to be in
Or,
WWE.
or be in WWE again, period. And I think he probably should have realized that in the last several years. But he keeps saying, he's like, oh, I'll come back. I never got to work my Mania main event.
Well, remember that Twitter poll? That was hilarious.
Yeah. And then he
He's
did
like,
it again.
which company should I wrestle for? And what was it like? New
Like,
Japan, AEW, TNA, WWE, or retire?
And it was all retired.
80% retire.
Didn't he take that down?
I'm sure he
I think he
did.
took it down and then he put another one up and he like even said
Took
in the
it out of
caption,
it?
He's like, all right, guys. He's like, for real this time. He's like, don't do retire. And I think he took that away as an option, but he like. Left
Why
it.
would you?
They
put
all
it on
Left the
first
comments
time?
all over
Yeah.
people just
I'm
put
just
retire.
Either that, or I think he also left it where they could like leave their own option, and so then people created retire and then retire one again.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, and then he was like pretty much brushed it off and was like, I'm not retiring. But yet he's still not wrestling.
Cody, did you give us the answer on AJ Logan?
Yeah, it's the first words out of my mouth. It's AJ.
AJ
All the way.
Styles, okay.
And then I just shit on Logan Paul for
That's
5
actually a
minutes.
little bit of a surprise. 3-0 AJ.
We got.
Did you really think AJ was gonna do something? Logan was gonna do something?
I didn't necessarily know which
I
way
think
we
that
went.
WWE would book him to probably do something.
I didn't
We'll
necessarily.
look him to do that, but
I didn't think that any way we went, we'd have a. If we start this way, I didn't think we'd be 3-0 AJ. But
I mean, I could see
I
this,
want him to win.
I can see this going either way, and it's not because I don't care
Yeah.
who wins or I don't care about the match. It's like I really could just see either guy winning. I mean, as you said, Tim, Logan Paul hasn't won in a while, as you all touched on. AJ hasn't had a big moment in a while. He hasn't had, honestly, you could argue a WrestleMania moment ever, because depending on your opinion on his match with Shane. But yeah, it's just
His
like
Mania matches, he hasn't had like a big marquee
Right.
Mania
No,
match.
which is
or
so
Well, he
surprising.
wrestled Edge.
See, that's the thing though.
It was
His
still for
matches
nothing,
are
right?
forgettable.
yeah,
He
I
wrestled
forgot about
Orton
that.
at Mania. Do
Yeah.
you remember that
Not
shit?
really.
No.
Well, it's because it's like for AJ, they kind of, especially the last few years, they've been using him as like, you're gonna have a weak story, weak build, but we know you can put on a great match.
He's like the
Yeah,
utility.
they don't
He's
have
like
to do
the
too
utility.
much
Right, so
for
we
it.
know that can save poor creative, and maybe that's why we don't remember as
Because
much about
yeah,
the
we
match.
don't
Like,
have-
as soon as you mention it, we remember because we're like, oh yeah, that was a good match, but you don't remember the story. And honestly, it's like they always say, it's the moments in the match that you remember. It's the moments in the story that you remember in wrestling more than like the moves.
Oh yeah.
But no, I don't like giving Logan Paul flowers. Like Cody said, I think he's a terrible person.
You love him.
No, I don't. I think he's
Logan
terrible.
Paul flipping you off this bench.
I think he's scum. But I am impressed, and I'll give flowers when they're due, credits due where it's earned. And when he came in, I had the same as Cody, kind of had my doubts, but I was open to see it. And honestly, like I don't mind his matches because they're good matches, but I do kind of get irritated that like, especially here recently, he's like, and he announced it on his socials and everything. They had a whole like meeting with Triple H and Stephanie. Sign a new contract. I'm a full-time wrestler. I'm taking this seriously now, retiring from boxing. And yet he's still not here every week. And yes, he's been here more often, but that's just because it's Mania. I'm sure as soon as Mania's done, maybe it's a little bit longer, he'll stick around to Backlash. But as soon as we get past that, Mania or Backlash, I'm sure he'll be back to like, gone until SummerSlam build. And it's like, he can pull it off because he has good matches. And I can't give too much complaint about it because if it was Bad Bunny, because I love Bad Bunny, he has great matches, so I like him better as a person, I probably wouldn't be as irked by it. So I can't sit here and be like, I wish it'd go to someone who's wrestling full time, like Karrion Kross, because he's involved
Give
in
that
all
man
this.
a fucking chance, please.
He's what?
To give that man a fucking
Okay,
chance,
I know.
please.
I know. And like they gave him back his old entrance he had in NXT this past Monday, which they didn't show it because they went to commercial, which
Of
again,
course.
that's a whole nother topic of the US, on Netflix and commercials, whereas everyone else around the world doesn't. But no, I think Karrion Kross plays a factor in this. I think if Logan Paul wins, I think it's because Karrion Kross costs AJ the match. But that's where I had a little trouble with that because I'm like, he's been preaching to AJ, we need you to win this for us, meaning, hey, us full-time wrestlers, we need you to go out there and prove this guy. He can't do this like us. That's the message I'm getting because he hasn't fully elaborated. He's just like, you got to prove him wrong. You got to win this for us. But with Karrion, like, you got to finally do something, as Cody said. Either, like, do something with him. I mean, his last match was, like, I think the Raw on Netflix debut. Wyatt Six and Final Testament. His last singles match was back in June of last year.
No, Karrion just fought, was it AJ last week before?
No, that's what I'm talking about. But, like, before his
Before
match
that,
with-
yeah.
Oh, he had another match with AJ before this one on Raw?
No, I thought you would skip that one.
No,
That's my
I'm
bad.
saying before that match
Yeah.
with AJ, his last match on Raw last match in general was the Raw debut on Netflix. The last singles match was back in June of last year.
Mhm.
I think he could play a factor in this. He's kind of like the puppeteer, as you see on his shirt, and what he does is like, and if you go back, I like how some people online have noticed this, and I've seen it, like, each person he feuds with, he changes his whole hairstyle, he changes his attire. They said during his match on Raw with AJ, he went and got new gear, because before he always wore, like, just trunks, and now he's got tights. And they said he went and got that gear made by the same people who made AJ's gear. So it's a bunch of mind game stuff. So he's like, you're saying AJ, I want you to win, but he's also trying to get in AJ's head. To where I'm like, I could see Karrion get involved, but if I had, gun to my head, had to pick, yeah, I'm probably going AJ. I'm going AJ.
4-0. I love it.
He needs the moment more. He has less time on the clock than Logan does, especially, like I said, if Logan keeps up
Actually,
with
it
this.
says
every
it's full time.
Yeah, like, so often 2-3 matches a year. Yeah, so a lot of longevity you can get out of that. But if Karrion does interfere or get involved, I think Logan Paul's going to win. But, yeah, I'm going AJ, though.
You've been spared.
Caveats just Karrion. But
Yeah. I think Logan Paul's winning the match.
That pulverizer. No, the pulverizer. That, to be fair, AJ's like the only guy who could probably do it to.
He did it to Ray.
Okay, Ray's smaller than
Yeah,
AJ.
I know, obviously.
Alright, anybody under 5'5", get in the line because you're gonna get hit by the move.
Like Tim was saying, I think Logan's lost a lot of Mania matches. I think that he's kind of due. I think AJ will have maybe a credible victory. He'll have a good exit out of wrestling, but I think he's probably going to be used to put people over a lot at this point. And I think Logan's going to be one of those guys. It's a big spot. It's Mania. Like AJ's going to be able to deliver a great match with him. I think they're going to have a great match. It's going to be awesome. But I think Logan Paul's winning.
And unfortunately, Logan Paul's money, and you gotta make money to run a business.
And I do like Logan Paul. As a wrestler in WWE, like, as a character,
He plays a
the
little douche
venomous
fucker
hate
great.
that he gets
Yeah.
is enjoyable.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Him as
genuine.
just
They don't give him a
He's
chance to talk.
such a
like Dom, like
douchebag
Dominic.
character that
I
people are
hate
just
the
like,
Maverick, though. Just be Logan Paul.
the Maverick is kind of weird. Like, why?
Yeah, just
what
be
is
Logan Paul.
Maverick?
You look like a fucking
Yeah,
Mortal
like
Kombat
Logan
character.
Paul's.
Hey, you can't
It's
go to
just-
Japan though, so is there really a plus to that?
Yeah.
Dominic was like, you should
Never
wear
been-
the hat.
Oh, you get real heat if you wore the hat. And then he just goes, Dom. Yeah.
See, the thing
Dom's
is,
a great heel.
business is business is business. Logan Paul fucking draws eyes.
He
eyes
does,
draw
dude.
money.
He draws so many people
And
from outside of wrestling.
Logan Paul, he hasn't had a big victory in a while, and I do think he's going to beat AJ. I am not necessarily happy to say that because I was an AJ Styles fan in 2005 whenever I was watching TNA.
When was Logan's last big win? Was it, what did he do at Mania last year? Is that what
He's
he-
lost
Here's
multiple
the
years in a row. He
triple
lost
threat
to
against
he
Orton
lost to
Owens.
Seth
He won that.
2 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He won
his
that
last,
at 40.
that was his last big win.
Yeah. What did he do last Mania?
He lost to Seth at 39. He won the
39.
triple
Yeah,
threat
that's what you're
against
saying.
Orton and Owens for the U.S. title.
That was
If
in
you go-
last year's Mania?
Yeah,
If you go back,
Confirmed? That's when it was?
yeah, that
Was
that
it?
happened at Mania
Yeah.
40.
I remember he also was U.S. champion not that long ago.
Yeah. But see, this is the problem. Like, Seth went over him and people like that they're still kind of pushing. They haven't really done that with AJ, and that's what's kind of scares me. That's why I'm like, they're going to look at it and be like, he can go over AJ.
Yeah.
He shouldn't because AJ is one of the best in the fucking world the last 20 years other than Bryan Danielson
And
in
AJ
ring.
Yeah.
Right.
AJ doesn't seem to be the type where he's going to complain about his
No,
position. He's
no.
going to just.
He
take
probably
money.
makes a good amount of money.
It's
just getting out
AJ's
of the
probably going to
Yes.
get paid a shitload of money. Hey,
He's
make
just a wrestler.
make this
Yeah,
guy look good.
so
he's
he's
throwing
doing
us a
the job.
fuckload of money.
So
All right, I'll do it.
They might have already had that conversation of like, hey, AJ, he's been made it publicly aware. I got 2-3 years left, so maybe they've already had that conversation like, hey, these last couple of years,
Man, I hope
They're
they give him
putting
one
guys
more world
over.
title run.
So I am.
or at least a mid.
I'm gonna say. Definitely
return
gonna
to
say
TNA.
Logan Paul on
That'd
that
be
one.
fucking sick.
And
That's
that
a
is
4-2.
4-2. So I think we're gonna take a break right before. Do you guys think there's any way whoever Orton's opponent's gonna be? We'll just cover this before
Yeah,
we
we'll
break.
just cover
Just
this
have a
one.
clean slate, and we have big matches, obviously. Big matches up next after the break. But do you guys think there's any way whoever Randy's picked opponent is beats him?
No.
Depends who it is.
Especially because Backlash is in St. Louis. So,
Why would they
If
make
it's
it
like-
like an Alistair or
Unless
Rusev,
it's a
though?
big surprise like that.
But
I was
if
gonna
they
Somebody said Rusev. and
Well,
I
he
was
is
like,
signed. That's been confirmed. He's
I would
just
be here
waiting
for
to
that.
actually make his debut. Same with Alistair.
he should be
maybe
Miro. Miro's a better name than
Yeah, the
fucking
Re-
Rusev.
Or at least have the Redeemer character if he's going to go by Rusev. But no, I think it depends who it is. If it's a return, if it's a return like that, I think that person wins. But if it's like solo
But they
or
shouldn't
even like,
fuck
If it's
Orton
somebody
over
on the
like
current
Yeah.
active main roster, they're getting
It's
their ass
Randy.
fucking killed
But-
in this match.
before we went live, Cody and I were talking, and he mentioned all this, and that's a possibility. And if it's him, I'd probably still give it to Randy.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. He
No,
would
no.
for sure.
But Nick Aldis has like said in interviews, like since he's been back as GM, that like he does want to get back in the ring, and that like he's okay with the GM role because he sees it as, hey, this is what I need to do to be able to get back in the ring. Yeah, and it's a paycheck, but he also is like, this is what I need to do to get back in the ring because he's like, they didn't want to sign me as a wrestler, they want to sign me as backstage talent or whatever. But he made clear I want to get back in the ring. Maybe they're finally at that point.
At
But
least,
if it's him, I still go Randy.
at least they acknowledge that Randy is just way too big of a star to just leave off the card entirely. So, like, you can't say, like, this is something we can't be too critical of necessarily because Randy didn't expect to be in the spot. Kevin didn't expect to be in the spot. So,
Godspeed.
this is going to be what it's going to be. And,
At least they're
It's
not
the
fucking
thing, it's
over.
wrestling.
Yeah.
Once again.
But it's kind of nice that they can just call it out and everybody's just going to wait and they're going to watch Orton slaughter.
I hope
whoever
it's
it
somebody
is.
just
Yeah.
completely
It was
fucking
like-
random and out of the blue.
That would be
Just
cool.
Fucking,
Like how Cody
like an
showed up a
actual
few years ago.
WrestleMania surprise.
Which,
You know?
like, quick recovery to KO, because, like,
Yeah.
some
I don't know
reports
about
are
that one,
reports,
guys.
but I've seen
Well,
anything
speedy,
from,
hopefully.
I've seen anything from, like, 9 months to, like, 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
The
I mean,
post I
it's
saw said 2 to 5 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a neck injury, so you never know with that. You see
Which means
guys come back right
probably
away.
career ending at that point.
I mean, look at Big E. Look at Stone Cold. I mean, even, like, they eventually came back, but look how long it took.
Edge was like 8 years.
Steve could have. It wasn't
Yeah.
right. He didn't work.
Right.
You know,
Daniel Bryan was probably, like, the one that was
Yeah.
had the...
He was like 5 years.
Right, his was the shortest out of, like, Edge and Stone Cold,
Yeah.
but still.
KO had a pretty damn great career, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
over. It's not hopeless yet. I
Yeah.
think he'll get
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
That being said, I think we're gonna take a break. We still got some huge matches left, so ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
stick with us,
Alright, bet.
and we will be right back. This is the WrestleMania 41 podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Casting the Spotlight episode number 174. It is the WrestleMania 41 special. We got Cody Robbins, Ethan Walder, Ricky motherfucking Dickel, and we got E over here, and we got half the card down, boys. A little more technically, but we got basically the biggest ones. Maybe one of them's not the biggest, but we'll get to that. Or maybe if you're a massive Ray fan, like Elijah, he loves.
I mean,
That
that was one of
match.
my all-time favorites, but
He
that's
might get
still
another
not one of
victory
my
this year.
favorite matches on the card.
Yeah, he has another opportunity. I feel like to win another Mania match. So this late in his
More
career.
exciting than Cena and Rhodes, in my opinion.
Is it?
No, I'm just kidding.
It might be. All right. Well, let's start off with the triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. Io Sky defends against Bianca Belair, the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble winner, and Rhea Ripley. Mommy. So, E, I think you are up first. What do you think? How is this going to play out? You know there's been chaos after fucking chaotic thing with this feud. Then Rhea drops the belt, and then Io picks it up, and then Bianca's in there, and then she throws herself in the way in that referee match.
Well, let's
Special
be
referee.
honest. Rhea's being a baby. Bianca, she's right about almost everything she's saying, but the crowd's just booing her. That's
They don't like it.
they just love Rhea so much. That's the
Yeah, that European tour, that was something else. They did not care for Bianca at all. Nonetheless, I'm happy we're back in the States because I know a lot of people couldn't even watch during that because times and stuff, people got jobs and stuff like that. So it was cool nonetheless. But as of who's winning this match, the build towards it, it was okay, and then the Rhea situation where she had the belt, she lost it to Io. And the story they told with that was they just had Rhea basically just like sign the contract to like force her way into it. Even though 100% Bianca's right, she won her right to go against Io 101.
Yeah.
And now you add Rhea part of that. And I think the honest reason you add her to that because we already kind of knew like Rhea was gonna be on WrestleMania no matter what. She was white hot at the beginning of the year, so it's just like she had to be in it. Triple threat match is gonna cook regardless. But the story they told of trying to get it over, it just didn't work because you was just like rushing her out there, and the contract stuff really didn't make no sense. And some of the time they'll let Io look like a pushover in it, so now you gotta insert Io involved in all of this, so it's kind of like they dropped the ball a little bit for it, but it's going to be a good match regardless. It's WrestleMania. A lot of the builds and stuff is not all that great, but they're going to have a good match.
Yeah. It feels like even though she has she had the belt, she dropped it to Io, like it almost doesn't seem like it seems like her presence still kind of dwarfs the other two going into this, but there's no reason it should because she's not the champion, nor is she the Rumble winner.
Challenger, yeah.
But yet everybody's like, oh man, like she's still kind of at the forefront because she's Rhea, which is probably why they still wonder in the match. You know, you kind of wonder like whenever Becky and Ronda Rousey and Charlotte had that one triple threat match, they kind of added Charlotte because they're like, well, she's
More star
the most-
power.
yeah, and she's like, oh, she's the biggest star of like this time in the women's division, so they're like, let's just put her in the match because it feels like she should be in the match.
Mhm.
And like maybe they're like, well, we're not going to give Rhea any less than this, so let's just kind of make this a triple threat. I don't know if they knew what they wanted to do, even if they act like it, because you know she had it, then they flopped the belt over, and then we're expected to believe that maybe there's going to be a new champion, even though they just fucking tossed the belt around. So I don't know about all that, but so you're who are you going with ultimately? Did you say?
Honestly, they've been building this up. I'm going with the wild card here. I'm gonna go with Bianca. I have this like weird feeling in my thought process right now because I seen a picture of Triple H basically like, you know, him talking to Rhea after like a title win or something. I have this like weird feeling. Triple H is clearly a Rhea girl. Basically, he loves Rhea, so he probably might give Rhea the belt back. But then this kind of defeats the purpose with Io. Now you're flopping the titles around. Now they threw out that Bianca's undefeated at WrestleMania, so it kind of makes you think on who really have a better advantage of winning. And I think honestly, you give Bianca the belt, get her away from SmackDown, but I feel like it might hinder SmackDown a little bit. But I see Bianca winning just off the simple fact a new title person would be all that bad.
Isn't that crazy? She's the wild card, but she's the Rumble
Yeah,
winner. So she should be like,
Bianca. Yeah. And I mean, she's been champ a lot.
yeah.
So.
Cody, what are you thinking?
I'm leaning more Io because I kind of want to see what Io can actually do with the title run.
Mm-hmm.
This whole time she's just been like, yeah, I have the title, but we don't care about you. Get out of the middle. You're not in the picture. Like, we don't care that you're the champion. Like, let's actually see what she can do as champion.
Yeah.
Also, we could do without Rhea without a title for a while and see what she could actually do without having a title and being the star. Let her see if she can actually carry that star reign that she's ran with the title without a title in the picture. It's kind of the Roman thing. You've had it so long. Let's see what you do again without it. Let's see if the people still follow and are so like ride or die over you without the title around your waist.
They are.
I mean, yeah, well, but she's still in the title picture.
Yeah.
Like let's get out of the title picture. You're like, everyone's like, you're gonna win it back. It's like, okay, let's see what you do without it for a while.
We need to build more women's.
That too.
No,
rivalries.
yeah, because that's the problem. They don't like. There's no serious effort if they're not going after the belt to put any effort into their
Yeah.
storylines. It's just like, well,
It's just the Rhea feeding system at this point. Who's gonna come up that Rhea's gonna level? And they're like, all right, let's do it again. Who's the next one? So no, I would like to see Io do it and actually have a good title run.
all right, one for Bianca, one for Io.
Yeah, so with Rhea, Rhea's definitely least likely, I think. Thank you. I think she's least likely. I mean, she just had it. She had it for Liv had it before that, but then she had a lengthy run before that. So I don't think she needs a title win or reign at all right now. She could go a few months, she'll get it back. She'll be fine. She's so popular. What confuses me about all of this is like what they were thinking with trying to paint Rhea as a heel with this, because she's just so white hot popular, has been for a long time, and that hasn't cooled down with like some other names you could say, like maybe LA Knight. Like, she's not a flash in the pan. This is probably going to stick with her for a while. Like, I don't know what it would take to get crowds genuinely booing her unless you have a really good baby face that fans love more than her. I don't know if they have that. Everybody loves Io, and like, just no matter what she does, she's kind of that lovable underdog. So with Rhea, I just wonder like if they thought they really could turn her heel, or if they kind of expected to get pushback from the crowd. Because with Bianca, I mean, it's clear that they looked at Bianca as like the face of the women's division. I mean, Roman face of the men's division, Bianca the face of the women's, and like you wouldn't think that they'd turn her heel. So with her showing this is like a little bit of a darker attire, darker attitude, like throwing the contract at Rhea, is that a sign of maybe a heel turn, or is that her just being fed up with Rhea? Which I wouldn't blame her if that's the case, but I don't know. I think I would like to see a heel turn from Bianca, and see Io win the title. And I agree with Cody, have Io go on a run here, see what she can do with it. You can still protect Bianca and her whole undefeated streak at WrestleMania and just have, once again, Io beat Rhea, like submit or pinfall. I think how it could play out is, once again, as they've kind of been hinting at, Rhea and Bianca are so focused on each other that they forget about Io somehow. Maybe she's taken out earlier in the match, and they're so focused on each other, Io comes out from nowhere and gets the win. Kind of like is what we've been seeing. She's just been an afterthought.
It is no disqualification too.
Yeah. And so yeah, I'm gonna go with Io. I would like to see them lean into this darker side of Bianca, because I just don't think you're gonna be able to turn Rhea heel and then have them square off, have them feud, or have just Bianca stay in the main event scene, have her feud with Io. But yeah, I think it's maybe time for also after this Rhea take a step back from the main event and like build some newer stars, like Elijah was saying. But yeah, go Io.
Yeah, initially, like, after Chamber, I was thinking Bianca's picking up the belt. That was just, like, my initial thought. But just seeing the way that they've built all of this has made me think Io's winning. Because it's like they have kind of made her an afterthought, and even the announcers have been kind of like saying, oh, they've been trying to push her aside, and they really have for their personal rivalry. So like Ethan was saying, like it could just easily play out like they're distracted with one another, and Io can capitalize on them. And then that builds a great rivalry outside of any title for the women. If you get Bianca and Rhea feuding with one another, you don't even need a title. So, yeah, I think Io keeps the belt. I think she needs to. I think it'd be a disservice to her at this point to like have her drop the belt with the way this story's been going. It's like she just picked it up and she's been shoved aside this whole time. Why would you ever drop the belt? So I'm going Io.
Yeah, I think Io's gonna retain the title. I thought that like the last few weeks, I was like, it just seems like it makes the most sense that if she drops it already, like I think it'll be a tad or a lot silly for them to pass it back and forth. Oh, then Io has it, and then she drops it right to Bianca or right back to Rhea. Like, what are we doing? It's like a bigger statement, and like that's what I guess triple threats, but also sometimes fatal four ways are. Like, it is about capitalizing at the right moment. Like, she doesn't even have to be involved in whatever happens, and then all of a sudden Bianca and Rhea are on the ground, and she can just pin one of them, win the belt. Like some shit could happen between them, and she takes advantage at the right moment. Yeah. I definitely don't think it'll be. I think it'll be a lot of physicality from the other two. You know what I mean? But she's gonna like play her cards the way she has to win the match. I don't think they're all flipping. Like I said, that's why some people are gonna retain. I think she's gonna be one of them.
Right.
So that's
and like
that's 4-1.
Another note, real quick. She lost last year in her title match, so maybe this is like, if you believe that they do that for the wrestlers, which I think sometimes they do.
Which I don't think they should. I don't think it should be.
No.
Well, I win this year, and then you win, and then I win, and then it keeps everybody the same, and nobody's fucking better than anybody.
I don't think they plan on it, but like, yeah, I think if that moment comes up, then it's like they consider it. But
yeah,
if you believe in that, like we were saying earlier with AJ getting his moment.
But the heat is taken off everybody in a triple threat because it's not the personal match usually.
No, everybody has a chance to look good.
And everybody has a chance to not look as bad. So nobody really has to. Even the person that gets pinned, you don't really look that bad in a triple threat.
No,
right.
It's a lot more attention focused whenever you lose one-on-one and that person's up, celebrating.
This could be match of the weekend.
So
that's what
I'm gonna.
What do you got?
I just think I'm gonna go with Rhea, and she's just gonna prove that she's just dominant right now, and they're just gonna do one of those kind of obvious but not obvious fucking just domination type matches. You know, I mean, she's just gonna go out there and overpower him.
Just smash him and stack him.
I'm not gonna. I'm not. Maybe not that far. I think it's gonna be a really good, fucking decently long match. But at some point, she's just gonna take over, and then people are just gonna be like, "Damn, I guess she, is the top dog," and kind of put Bianca in her place a little bit. And then Io, everybody just...
Big dog Rhea Ripley.
Exactly. Literally, pretty much. I mean...
Alright, give her the
similarities...
The
The similarities are there, and honestly, that could push towards, a little bit of hate from the crowd. So, I mean, I feel like it...
They already tear it alive that Rhea's had the title for fucking ever and keeps picking it right back up.
Oh, yeah. It's her time.
I guess you're not wrong. But still, Rhea, all day. It's just gonna be one of those that you're just
I'm
like,
not surprised coming
damn.
from the Roman guy that we were all against it during the long fucking title reign. He was like the lone.
I don't
person.
think-
And I got it.
Why am I not surprised?
I don't think
I
that
got it.
automatically, because you're a winner, it makes you fucking guilty of anything. I think she, like, if nobody can take the spot from her, she's
Yeah,
in the
that's
headline
what I'm
roles,
saying,
and
yeah.
she's
But
been
it's
there for years.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but at some point you got to start building others up to get somewhere close to that.
yeah, but those other two are still pretty built up.
They are.
Yeah, no, they definitely are.
Yeah, no shit.
No, we'll get to that too. I defend that too.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't be there unless she's a star. It's not like it's not. All right, this time it's your turn. Here's your turn. Here's a paper. It's no. There's no turns. You fucking earn it, and the best get to the top. There's no fucking. Oh, I feel bad for this underdog. They should get a chance. Stop.
Well, especially
Stop.
nowadays.
Knock
Kofi
it off.
Kingston.
No chances. No chances are given fucking randomly. You earn the shit.
Well, under Vince it was like Sami Zayn said.
Well, he
had a
wanted
better
he
chance
wanted
of
to
becoming world champion
only
than Vince.
push the same 4 people for 10 years.
Well, they said like for
So it's
Vince
like-
too. Vince would like on a random win. Hey, you're winning the title tonight, and so that's why Sami Zayn said like he had a better chance of winning the world title under Vince than Triple H because Triple H is much more precise with it. So like
Sami Zayn.
He's
awesome.
more his fingers on the pulse more of what the audience wants.
right, but
You know?
with Vince, it didn't seem like you could just get lucky and just like, oh hey, I'm
Yeah.
on the right side of Vince.
But
this
see,
month,
that's the
I'm
thing.
winning the title.
He allows people
Triple
to
H.
organically get themselves over, and like that's
Yeah.
why I'm like, no, you earn it. It's nobody's. It doesn't matter how much you. It's like if they haven't fucking earned it to be given a title shot, let alone carry the load for a while, then they haven't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like Liv fortunately fell into the situation she did last year because that wasn't intended to happen, and then that worked out really well for her. But it's kind of like you're the next guy up whenever somebody gets hurt. So it's like you can't ever let your you can't ever let your guard down because like the time could be around the corner if something happens. Fucking ask Tom Brady how that worked out whenever he fucking filled in for Drew Bledsoe.
Mr. Kennedy in the Money in the Bank situation.
Yeah,
Which turned
exactly.
out to not actually be an injury, really.
but
He got screwed.
did you just finish answering? Is that where we were?
Yes.
Yes.
And you said Rhea, so we're 4-1 to
Yeah.
1. Well, we'll see what happens.
Interesting. So
Yeah,
I guess that's
not
it
very
then.
split though. It's still pretty decisive. but-
'Cause you started.
I don't know it, but that's the thing. I don't know if we're right. I really don't. Like this is not one of those matches that
Rhea. Elijah's like, damn it, she's gonna win.
All right.
Honestly, it could happen.
I
can
guess
see
we
it.
can
Rhea's
roll.
not winning. Rhea's the least likely to win, I think. That's my
To
opinion.
you.
I could be surprised again. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah, that's your opinion.
Yeah, how dare you have an opinion over there?
I think it's gonna be awesome though.
Yeah, like I said, I think this could be match of the weekend. This triple threat. Like,
We'll see. The
You
Bills.
sure not?
The
You
Bills.
sure
are
it's
weird.
not Ray and El Grande?
It could be a great match.
I think that could also be low key fire, dude. I do.
No, it could be a great. I mean, it's Gable and Mysterio. It's gonna be. A good
It's gonna
match.
be good no matter what.
It's not. It's El Grande.
Yes, it is.
No, quit it.
Let's do the Intercontinental title match, which honestly, like, and I know some people are looking at this match like it's gonna, but I really think under the radar of a lot of the things that are going on at this pay-per-view, fucking, that's gonna be,
Fast paced.
yeah, that's gonna be like some quality shit. So we got Braun Breaker defending the title against Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. And Ethan, I believe you're up first.
No, it's me.
I was gonna say
Is it you?
It's
Yeah.
not me.
Damn.
Oh yeah, because we did the okay.
Oh,
We
yeah.
just now did the wrap that one. All right. These are gonna be nuanced, so take your time.
Honestly, I'd kind of like to see Penta win it just because.
Oh man.
Braun could retain, and I'd be a-okay with that.
Yeah.
I think, for what what we've been seeing with Dom and Finn, they could screw each other out of it, and that becomes a feud. I think that could happen. Not that I think anything's going to happen with Judgment Day splitting or any of that. I just think I can see the two of them going at each other, and maybe Finn leaves, and the rest of them keep rolling. Because they don't need to keep everybody there or get rid of everybody all at once to keep, obviously they've shown that with the Judgment to keep it rolling. And Finn, I feel like it's been dropping hints. I kind of hope we get Demon Finn back. I've been waiting for years for that to come back.
Me too.
So yeah, no, either Penta or Braun are my pick. I don't know. If I gotta pick one, I'm going Penta. But again, it's another title flip, so it's like,
Yeah.
that's why I'm like Braun could retain, and I'd be a-okay with that.
Well, we've still got some matches to go. Don't forget about that. In terms of like the title flipping and then not flipping.
Yeah.
So. Oh man.
Alright, so I think we see another defining moment, star-making moment. Except this time, I think it's like futures, and I think it's Dirty Dom. I think we're gonna see a star-making moment with Jacob Fatu, but like I said, he's creeping up on 40. Dom's our age, and
Fatu's 32.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Damn, he looks older than him.
Yeah.
He's actually 33 in 2 days, but still.
My bad. So he's the same age as Solo, pretty much, around there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had like same year.
Wow, Solo looks so much younger. Okay, well, my bad. But Braun Breaker's also our age. But so those are two stars of the future.
Well, don't tell
right
Fatu that.
Penta, I think Penta's creeping up on 40.
Mhm.
Yeah, Penta's creeping up on 40. But no, I think Penta's time will definitely come. I think Penta could even be a world title contender without even winning a mid-card title just because he's so popular, he's so good, name recognition. No, I'm going Dom. I think the dude's earned it. Like, the only title he's held in WWE has been the NXT North American title. Like, I don't think even when they had the tag
That's
title,
crazy to even think about.
Yeah, I don't think even when they had the tag titles, he was ever in any
No, because it was him and JD,
reincarnation
wasn't it?
of that.
It was
It was Finn
Finn
and JD, and then
Yeah.
Finn and Damien. Yeah.
I didn't think about
So
that.
I don't think Dom ever participated in the tag title run. So I think it's time for Dom to get his flowers and get a title. He's been putting in great work. This also goes back to what I said earlier about I think Judgment Day is going to be dripping in gold again. I think that Dom is going to pin Finn. As much as that hurts me to say, because Finn is my boy. I love Finn.
Same.
And I still have not gotten over how mistreated he's been since the whole SummerSlam 2016 incident with Seth Rollins and having him drop the title.
It never feels. It feels like
He never
the
bounced back.
timeline was alternated after that.
Yes, it really was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the dude at the time was just so white hot, and he's never been able to reach that peak again. And then they botched the whole demon character. I'm hoping we see a
It's not
face.
that hard to fuck up. How did
I
you
know.
fuck it up?
It was 2017 to 2019
No, like,
against McMahon.
He lost that Hell in a Cell match against Edge.
Which
When he was
Triple
the
H
demon,
planned
wasn't
it.
he?
Apparently, reports say Triple H planned it for Finn
What
to win,
year
and
was
then,
that?
then Vince came in.
2020,
3 years ago.
That was 39.
Yeah, it wasn't any.
That was WrestleMania 39.
That's
Did he
not
work?
long
Did he? Okay, I guess he did.
But apparently, take it for you want to get in dirt sheets, but they say Trips had Finn to win that, and then Vince came in, and that's when Vince also the next night rewrote Raw after Mania, and it was just one of the most
God awful
terrible
things.
Raw after Manias ever. But Vince came in and also rewrote the Mania card, and because he loves Edge, Edge is one of his boys. He chose Edge to go over Finn. So Finn was supposed to win that Hell in a Cell, but also Finn got busted open. Got by that ladder from Edge. But no, anyway, I love Finn. He's been my boy, but I think he's going to take the pin. I also think we might see a new Judgment Day member. They've been talking about it, been hinting about it. Who knows who that might be? Because Finn's all. I think that's how he's going to make his exit. They've been hinting. They're like, oh, no new members, and Dom keeps bringing it up behind his back and stuff. So I think we might see somebody come in. I don't know who that is. I really don't. Could be someone from NXT. Could be Aleister Black. Could be Karrion Kross. I don't know. Those are some names I've seen floated around. But no, I'm going Dirty Dom though. I think Braun Breaker's least likely, and then probably Finn, and then Penta, and then Dom.
speaking of that though, when you said the Edge thing, all I wanted to say was if he was truly Vince's boy after all those years
Cena
of
was
coming
his
back. No.
Cena
I'm not
was his
saying compared against Cena because they're each respectable and great in their own right. I'm saying if he's let's even say one of Vince's boys.
He created Edge.
If he is
Yeah,
one of
just
his
saw.
boys after all those years of never thinking that we were going to see Edge again wrestle, why in the fuck did he never win another world title in his run where he came back?
Most of his
Seemed
return
like
was under Triple H.
It seemed like that was on the table. Like that was
It
going to
was.
happen.
But also he came back at like just the beginning of the Roman dynasty, that massive title reign he went on. Like when he stacked Edge and Daniel Bryan, which at the time they only added Daniel Bryan because it was like Mania 30 again, where Edge
And his
wasn't
contract was up.
Edge wasn't getting the popularity that they hoped. Same with Batista, and the fans wanted Daniel Bryan again. But like when that happened, Roman was not even like halfway into his just title reign. I don't think, or maybe he was at the halfway point, but I don't know. He wasn't far into.
It was like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Or
So-
a little shy of that.
Yeah, I mean, he made Edge a star, but I think he came in at a wrong time at the peak of Roman. Vince was still there, but then Triple H took over, and I don't know what their relationship is like, but you could tell they didn't value Edge. Like, I think under Vince when he came back, he got more opportunities than he did under Triple H. Because I mean, fuck, his last match. I mean, it was in his hometown, but it was SmackDown against Sheamus, and then nothing. Like, not even like a good like video package or nothing. Just like, oh hey, yep, we're not re-signing you. I don't know. It just felt weird to send him off like that. So I think Vince valued him more than Triple H did.
Don't worry, his stock's going up. As Cope in
But at the same
AEW.
time,
Oh, is
the
he back
matches
already?
really quality.
Yeah.
When he came back, I don't feel like they were that great of matches. Like it was a nostalgia.
Yes.
It was a nostalgia thing to have Edge back.
Yes.
But to watch him wrestle, I'm like, I've seen some older independent wrestlers move better than you.
He didn't move like he used to.
No.
I mean,
And he
his
tried
back's
to.
metal.
Yeah, and he tried to, and it's just not working.
Yeah.
Like no. You were better off to just not.
He got
Come
the
back.
shit into the
Yeah,
stick.
he
though.
should have just come back to 1-2, get your goodbye the way you wanted, and go.
Easier said than done when that's your life.
It
So,
is.
so you went with Dom.
Dirty Dom.
So we've got Penta, Dom. Who do you got?
Prison Con Dom.
I
Honestly,
stayed one night in a county jail. I went to prison.
I think for the shock value of it, and because it's WrestleMania, and because it would be kind of a big deal, I could kind of see Dom winning. I think Braun retaining is the next likely thing to happen. But it's one of those two. I think if they're going with like, oh, this is the rational thing, Braun might hold on to it. But if they're like, this is WrestleMania, let's make something happen here, let's shake
It's
it
gotta
up,
be Dom.
Dom's gonna win.
It's gotta be.
So I think on that night, it's Dom. And it's probably because something with him and Finn obviously happens, and he probably ends up fucking over Finn.
Finn leaves Judgment Day.
And yeah, that causes the split. But yeah, like you said, they're drifting gold then. Dom's got the IC title, Liv and Raquel are tag champs.
Need JD back and get the tag titles with Carlito.
That's the thing, JD, he's homies with Finn.
Yeah.
So
I think Braun's gonna hold on to the title. Honestly, I don't really have like
Yeah, but
that.
don't
I don't
say it.
have the most like thought through answer like for an explanation of why I think he's going to. But like, this will be another one of those occasions I think that the champion holds on to the belt because like sometimes whenever you have the odds stacked that much against you, everyone's like, well, the title's definitely coming off of him, and that's just the assumption because there's so many people in there. But I don't think it is, honestly. Like, I think it's a bolder statement if he goes in there, and I'm not saying he dominates everybody. He'll have his moments, just like everybody will have their moment of some sort. But I think he finds a way to hold on, and he takes the fucking, he hangs onto the throne, you know?
Yeah. No, this is definitely one of those matches that he, like, no matter who wins, I'm okay with.
Mm-hmm.
They're all great. They all deserve.
I think Finn
I'll
and Dom
run
are
at
going to
some
pose a
point.
problem to each other within the match.
Mhm.
So I don't think either one of them. I think that makes them less likely to win, them both being in. So, I guess that is so far. Okay, what'd you guys say? Penta, Dom,
And
2-1 Dom.
2-1
Dom,
And then
No,
I'm gonna
yeah,
go
yeah.
3-1 Dom. I just feel like this is his time.
Yeah.
I just feel like, you know, he's just so damn good with his fucking crowd reactions, and everybody fucking hates him, and it's just, it's like, just,
It's like
he's
Logan
just so,
Paul.
yeah, he's just so naturally a little fuckbag.
When he went up to Braun Breaker a few weeks ago on Raw, and he was like flexing up to Braun
Yeah.
Breaker, and it's like, dude,
the way he
come
looks.
on.
Dude, they're drawing the most heat right now. I mean,
Yeah.
other than maybe like Charlotte.
They're all, he's
We'll
awesome.
get to that.
He's awesome. I mean, he needs it. I feel like Elijah said, he needs his Mania moment already. You know, he deserves it. Great heel. Great heel.
All right, 3-1 E. How are you going to? I love how all of us are being very realistic and no one's saying Finn because we know what's gonna happen. I'm not taking it away from Finn's talent.
I know. Finn's at the point where
It's not gonna happen.
Too.
I love the match from top to bottom, but honestly, I gotta go with Dominic because with the storyline that they've been like showing on television, everybody else is getting the attention but Dominic. So I definitely most likely see Dominic coming up with a big win, and this probably leads to Balor out of the Judgment Day, which I think is best. I think it's time to do something with him, give him a singles run, at least try, because Finn has just been losing. So I just feel like this is the perfect way to get him away from the Judgment Day and get to winning matches again.
4-1.
Greatest Mysterio ever.
Damn. Well, speaking of that,
Oh gosh, here we go. Let's get this one over with.
we got the
Let's
match
speak
that
on this
Ricky is. What'd you say? Looking more forward to than any Mania match ever.
Yes.
More
More than Cena
more than
versus
every
Rollins.
Roman main event. First of all, get that on the table.
Yeah, I mean,
More than every Jeff Hardy match ever.
I just think El Grande. There's just no chance that goat could ever lose. There's just no
Yeah.
way.
Well, I was gonna say,
Especially
I
to
believe
a
it's
bum
first.
like Rey Mysterio.
Dude,
I'm just kidding.
he's got a chance to pad his stats at WrestleMania by winning another match this late in his career. But or
How
is it
many
gonna
would
be
that
El
be?
Grande
So
Americano.
I think, like I was telling Cody, I think this match is gonna low key be fire. I think this. I mean, it's gonna be a good match. It's El Grande Americano, and we know how good he is. You know, from what I hear, he's a former Mexican Olympian. So, and then you got Rey Mysterio, great luchador. So I think it's gonna be a great match. But do I think it's gonna go past like? I think it's gonna last. I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, because Mysterio's got to be like 76 at this point.
But here's
Kayfabe aside.
I love going through
He
the
is
gimmick.
old, bro.
I love going. It's that cryogenic stuff he does and stem
It's
cells.
like 51, 52 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he does like cryogenic and like stem cell stuff that he says keeps him going. But anyway, like
One day he's gonna 619
Kayfabe
with a
aside.
wheelchair.
kayfabe aside, I don't think Chad Gable's going to stay in this character very long. I think it's a good story leading up to WrestleMania. It's entertaining. I think after Mania, that could be it, or it could maybe last until Backlash, and then maybe it's done after that. But what I think is likely to happen is, especially because he's been doing it on Raws, is Ray's going to get the win, finally unmask, reveal, oh, it's Chad Gable, because Gable's been doing that. He did that to Dragon Lee. He tried doing that to who else did he do it to? He tried doing it to Ray. I know he did.
Yeah. I feel like that was the third person.
Same, but I can't remember. But yeah, so I think Ray's gonna get the win, unmask him, reveal it's Chad Gable. But I mean, no, the story is like very much. It reminds me of Vince. This is where you can tell like Vince like rubbed off on Triple H a little bit with this type of like over the top comedic stuff. People are like, oh, Triple H is so much about wrestling, more than Vince and yada yada. But it's like, yeah, he is, but he's still, you can tell he likes that comedy stuff sometimes. So.
But they picked somebody good
I mean,
for the
you
character that
need
he
some
can wrestle.
comedy in
You do.
wrestling.
And there's still children that watch WWE that need a match like this, and that it's going to be a good match even for people our age. Like I said, it's going to be a good match, but like the
It'll
story
be well
aspect,
wrestled. For
yes,
sure.
yes, it's over the top. Yes, this is something that like yeah, of course, it's not believable. It's like Hogan and Mr. America and stuff like that.
That's what I was
But-
telling them during.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I saw the match for the first time, and I'm like, all it's missing is the fucking Hogan handlebar mustache stitched onto it.
Well, I saw like WWE's like social media account showed a picture of Chad Gable on Raw, like when he was out there during the match with Julius and Ray, and like he had like busted up knuckles, and then when El Grande came out later, busted up knuckles, and even WWE posted it and was like, huh. So it's like they're playing into it.
Yeah, it's
obviously,
just a
you know,
joke.
like, yeah, but it's like it's over the top, but man, it's entertaining. But I'm going Ray.
Yeah, I definitely. I'm happy as a Rey Mysterio fan. Like, he's one of my favorites of all time. So I'm like happy that he'll potentially have another Mania win this late in his career. I didn't predict him to win at 39 or 40, and I got burnt both those times. It's not gonna happen again.
You gonna get burned again?
And I'm gonna pick him this year, and I'm gonna get damn burned. Watch.
Yeah.
But no, I'm picking Rey Mysterio to win for sure. It makes just more sense. Like, are they really gonna have El Grande Americano beat
Well,
him?
they're gonna have
The large American.
They're gonna have
so
so
Dude, he's been getting pops.
Come on.
though.
They're
He's
gonna
been
have the
getting pops.
imitating luchador like do it. I don't think so. Like have him win the match.
No.
I love that it's also Gable, one of the shortest guys on the roster, and they're calling him the large American.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was like on a Monday Night Raw, El
Yeah.
Grande Americano might
Might
win,
win, yeah.
Yeah.
but not at WrestleMania.
No.
No, I'm gonna go with Rey Mysterio for sure. This isn't something that I put like a whole lot of like thought into. I think they just kind of like weaved it
Yeah.
together and made it a little thing to like
Yeah.
add them.
It's a
as
Rey
well.
match.
Another breakup match, probably.
Okay, but even
half-
like the little stuff like him going, gracias, like first time he
Oh,
did
yeah.
that, dude, I fucking laughed audibly. I was like, oh my god. It like, just, again, over the top, but.
I feel like it's been pretty entertaining
It's
though.
dumb in the best way.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
And that's a 3-0 Ray Zip so far.
I'm
Gross.
gonna. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go with El Grande. I mean, there's just no.
Oh.
There's just no. There's just no fucking possible way that the third best wrestler in the history of WWE could lose. I mean,
I was trying to figure out what the hell he was gonna say.
Your jaw dropped.
It was just like, what the fuck's
I mean,
going
it's
on
just-
over there?
it's just disrespectful that you guys could ever think he was gonna lose.
They really built him from the Gulf of America.
Who, El Grande?
Yeah, on his debut.
I honestly
They
didn't even
haven't done
see
it
that.
since then.
I
Oh,
haven't
it
even.
was
I
a
haven't
one
even
and
seen
done.
Really?
I
Yeah,
haven't
probably for
seen
the
it.
best. For the
Yeah,
best.
they got backlash about it from the
Yeah,
internet.
I'm
Yeah.
They
sure.
changed it immediately after.
Yep.
Oh.
That doesn't surprise me, but that is
What
quite
was it?
hilarious.
On his debut, they introduced El Grande
From
as
the
being
Gulf
from
of America.
Oh,
Yeah.
I do remember.
And they got
that.
massive heat.
Oh,
on
man.
about it. So
I thought
they
he still
stopped
was
doing
from there.
it. No, it was a
Damn.
one and
What's
one
it
and
say
done.
now? Just from America?
that was actually
E, do
kind
you
of
know?
hilarious.
Have they even said where he's from, or they just?
They
speak that
should.
since
They
then?
should just never speak.
Yeah.
They
I
went
think-
back to Gulf of Mexico.
I think they went back to Gulf of Mexico because the backlash was crazy. I even reacted to it, and I was like, no way they just did that, and especially like how the internet is now with,
No.
with the cancel culture. Like, I don't think that was a good idea to do on national television.
What's her name? The new ring announcer on Raw, Alicia Edwards. Is that her name? I can't remember, but Alicia Taylor.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
Alicia
yeah.
Taylor.
She said it. She's like from the Gulf of America,
Yeah.
and I was like,
do
what?
remember that.
Yeah.
No, wait, hold on.
El Grande Americano.
So you're going with him, huh?
Yes.
Man.
In the words of what the New Day called Rey Mysterio, the locker room leader, I'm going with Ray to win this one. I think honestly, he's gonna reveal Chad Gable as Americano. It's just the right thing to do. I think honestly, he just wanted to get Ray on the card. That's how you do it. Me personally, for Chad Gable, it sucks because last year we gonna go back to that WrestleMania where he was probably penciled in to win that Intercontinental from Gunther last year, and now you got him with this Americano gimmick. He's gonna put it over. We've seen Chad Gable with these characters, Shorty G, and everything like like that. So I think he's going to put this over. It's going to be a good match regardless. So Rey Mysterio for the win.
Yeah. All right.
4-1.
4-1.
I'm also taking Ray. I'm not doing this. I do think that we will get the unmasked probably at the middle to the end of the match. That may be how they decide to end it. Is he takes the mask off and then rolls him up.
Disqualification. I'm glad they win.
But no, yeah, I got Ray on this one. I will say, Chad Gable is that guy in the locker room. They'll just do whatever you give him, and you got to give him credit for that. He didn't leave after the Shorty G run and all the other stupid shit that they came up short on for him. He shows up. He's like, "This is what you're giving me. Okay, I'm gonna do everything I can with it."
And he can.
He
go.
really
He
is
can
like
fucking wrestle.
he
He
really
can
is like
go.
Kurt in a lot of ways
Yeah.
because he leans into the comedic side too and is
Oh,
not
yeah,
afraid
yeah.
to make fun of himself and
He's
like
not a gold medalist, but he was an
Yeah,
Olympian.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
he
can
actually
go.
is a lot like Kurt.
And-
Somebody said that they're like he would have been better than Jason Jordan as his son. And I
You
was
had
like,
the obvious
and then
answer,
they acted like that.
and then
never
they're like,
happened.
"No, that one."
I follow him on Instagram. And he posts his workout videos sometimes. The dude is jacked.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Jordan?
No,
Duh.
Gable.
Well,
Gable
yeah.
is
Yeah.
jacked, dude.
Yeah.
Like he's so.
Yeah.
What the hell
Yeah.
whatever ended up happening with that? Didn't Jason Jordan get like some sort of career-ending
He got a neck injury.
Yeah.
To where he,
another neck injury?
Now he's a producer, and honestly, I think I've heard he's like one of their higher-up producers.
Mhm.
But yeah,
That's
even Bobby Roode's a producer now.
Abyss.
Yeah.
What the hell happened? Bobby was just on TV doing the glorious thing, and then whoop, nope.
They just stopped. Well, then they put him in a tag team with Dolph, and then they just stopped using him.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
That's yours.
I started last time.
well, yeah,
Oh.
he'll be back to his. So I guess the next match is the 2025 Royal Rumble winner of the Women's Rumble match, Charlotte Flair, versus the defending Tiffany Stratton. What the hell? We've talked about this for months and months and months. We
It's
talked
still-
about it on like every damn one of these, well, most of these podcasts, I feel like the last few months. And I don't know if opinions have shifted that much or not.
I mean, originally, I thought Charlotte for sure, coming out of the Rumble, would probably go on the path to picking the belt back up. But like, the way everything's kind of played out, man. Again, it's another one of those matches where it's kind of like it's swayed my opinion a little bit over time, where I'm like, you know, Charlotte is one of my favorite women's wrestlers of all time. Like, I'm a fan of Charlotte. I know a lot of people have a lot of things to say about her, but she's a great wrestler.
Is it because she rode on her father's coattails her whole career? Just became the female version of her father.
And you guys
Dude,
want to
she's
say
a
Roman Reigns?
fantastic
You guys want to
character
say
for
Roman
her.
Reigns was forced down your throat?
I
At least
mean,
we didn't get
at
stuck
least
with
Charlotte was
106
there.
month and a half title reigns.
Yeah. She's a great in-ring
is.
performer.
She
Nobody
is.
can say she's.
I will argue
Give me
that.
I would
she
not-
got her dad's talent, but she became the female version of her dad.
I mean, yeah, character-wise, she's kind of like her.
I love
Yes.
Tim.
But
Tim's ready.
I would like Charlotte to win. Is that a rooster?
That's what I thought that was.
Wrong time of day, pal. You would like Charlotte to win?
I would like
There's
Charlotte
a
to
butt
win.
in there? Oh my god!
But I kind of feel like they're on the path to putting Tiffany over. It kind of feels like that. So I kind of see Tiffany retaining at Mania. I think Charlotte might pick it up shortly after. But I kind of think they might give Tiffany the win at Mania. It kind of feels like that. So I think on this night, I'm going to say Tiffany, yeah.
On this night.
Somebody mark it down.
Well, so does anybody know the full story of whenever she said that shit in the ring about like, well, this is your third divorce, and then you know she's like, oh, this
Yes.
is Kaiser in my DMs and blah blah blah, because she rolled out of the ring on that episode like she was just trying to cut off the emotional tension between like after what she said about you're just like your dad with the 3 divorces and stuff. and you guys are both propping up like you're supposed to say. So that I'll definitely give you guys a chance to. But so I heard that, and like that, this we need to talk about this. That kind of infected a degree of like real personal heat, perhaps. The other thing we know about heat and working the crowd and everything is even if there was a little bit, it could then forth be just, you know, exploited, and then they can use that to just further build the feud, which is kind of what they did. And they're like, oh, she's banned from the arena, you know, blah, blah, after the comments they made. I mean, obviously we knew that was part of the story, and then, you know, Charlotte attacked her like the other night and everything. So, and obviously the last SmackDown is going to happen after we record this. That's another point to make. So Cena has not made, when we release this, his, you know, his last words before this title shot too, and we'll get to that. But, you know, there could be real heat, and there's probably people that are like, maybe feel that way about Charlotte. I don't know. I'm not saying that's necessarily unwarranted, but I mean, she's been at the forefront of the women's division the last 10 years. She is, in my opinion, still, you know, in the last 10 years, far and away the most accomplished, especially by accolade, out of every single one of the women that have been there. Every one of them.
But how many of those were those flip-flops with her and Sasha, though?
3.
Oh my gosh.
So, take it away from... It'll do more damage to Sasha's reigns, I hate to tell you.
I mean, either way, they're
But
not great for
I'm
either.
fine with that. You know, but I mean, no, you're going to get those in anybody that has had over a dozen title reigns, though. You know, well, even close to that, to be honest. Like, you're going to get some reigns that were lesser than, you know what I mean, basically.
I just think it was not
But-
just how fast they flipped them was the problem.
No, I know. I agree with that. And I thought that was dumb, too. But Charlotte has 10 plus more reigns on top of even those 3 that were 2 weeks. But Sasha's, that makes her record look worse than Charlotte's. It don't take much from Charlotte's. It takes a lot from Sasha's WWE run. But I would definitely say, I think, I can see what you're saying, and I almost flipped, but I think I'm going to hold steady, and I think Charlotte's going to win the title. She's going to win number 15.
Like the crowd would turn on it so bad. That
Well, they would,
might
but it's gonna
not
be
do
heat.
it. Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean? Like, she's gonna be she's the villain. She has to be now.
Yeah,
I mean, they've turned her
I
into,
know.
all she can really do is lean into it, but
Unless
she's gonna
they
get a
try to
massive amount of heat.
repackage her again.
No,
You
I
think
don't
they
think
would do
she should
something
care
like
that
that?
much.
I don't.
You're
think
Ric
she
Flair's
should.
daughter, and you've had, you know, these things both, you know, on
I
and
mean,
off.
she's proven to be great at this
She's-
point.
yeah.
She is going to be seen as a legend.
So, just like
Oh, I
Rick,
understand.
she's going to be polarizing for a lot of the right and wrong reasons. So, it's what it is. But I'm going to stick by my guns, even though my perception of the match has shifted. And it almost encouraged me to pay. It doesn't necessarily mean, I think she should win over Tiffany, because I can see that case being made too, but I'm going to stick to my guns. What were you guys gonna say about the whenever they drag the personal bit into it, Ian, Ethan, just so you can?
I read reports that them going off script was probably most likely because of the stuff that has been going on with Charlotte's personal life, and you can tell with what Tiffany said, definitely ate at her, and then the crowd reaction towards it definitely played a part for her to go off script. They said Charlotte started it first. And with Tiffany, she kind of basically retaliated. So when she rolled out the ring so quickly, basically the report was basically saying that she was basically just trying to get it over with, and she didn't want to make stuff to be like controversial in a way. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I read everything he said too, and like, or saw it in reels or whatever. But no, and I think what started it was like the real tension and heat was like they had that side by side video, you know, and they said that like from reports. I mean, if you watch it, you can tell that like Charlotte was levels above Tiffany, but from what was read, she wasn't supposed to go that hard, but Charlotte went in like business for herself and was pretty much like, they say apparently she's done this before. She did it with Becky when Becky started becoming the man and getting hot, and that's why they're no longer friends, because like Charlotte's been on top for so long. She says like, hey, I'm gonna take it upon myself to go extra hard on this person to test them, see if they can do it. Well, they're saying that's what she did to Tiffany in that like side by side, and that's why Tiffany was just kind of like dropped the ball, and they were saying, oh, people online were saying, no, Charlotte intentionally tried to bury Tiffany. And then, so they said, like, Tiffany wasn't expecting that. That's why she didn't really have anything to come back with. And so, I can't remember if it was like a week later, 2 weeks later, Charlotte, she like went on like a morning talk show and she like talked about her divorce from Andrade and then missing her brother Reed who died, and like just saying like 2024 was the worst year she's had in her adult life, like mentally, emotionally, and she was like crying on live TV. Well, then she brought that up, like that's what Tiffany brought up, like, oh, you're 0-3 in your marriages, because like Charlotte was just talking about that.
Like she wasn't, and it almost felt like she got, you know, destroyed in the side by side. Like Charlotte wasn't really letting her say much.
Yeah.
So she like came with receipts ready.
Right.
Like
the next
personal
time. Like, I'm not
attack.
gonna get bodied
And
this
that
time.
like morning talk show she did was like either the morning, I think it was the morning before, like, or the day before they had that in-ring promo with each other. And what I read about that is like half of it was planned, half of it was not. Like, so when apparently Charlotte at some point was supposed to call herself like a Nepo queen, but like Tiffany calling her like a Nepo baby or whatever, like wasn't scripted. Of course the Kaiser thing wasn't. And like, yeah, I don't know. Like there's never been like exactly what was scripted and what was a shoot, but yeah, they definitely said that went off the rails. And they said that like Charlotte got more heat because they looked at Charlotte as like, hey, you're the professional here. You're the pillar. You shouldn't be doing that. It's like that awkward title swap between her and Becky years ago. It's like, yeah, come on now. You guys are supposed to be the examples here. And
Well, now you know how CM Punk feels.
yeah, but no, that was it. I think it's Ricky's prediction.
I'm gonna go with Charlotte because I mean, when Charlotte gets put in the title picture, she wins the title. I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles at this point, and I'm gonna go with her until she proves otherwise.
Oh, she's winning 15.
As much as I hate her.
And she's breaking Flair's record at some point, if not.
Oh,
soon,
100%.
She's doing it.
Yeah, 100%.
I would like to see her win.
I think she's going to.
Give it to us.
Gotta think about this. Gotta really dissect this really well. The negative reaction that Charlotte received when she won the Rumble, a lot of people don't like the idea that she's in this spot, but I just kind of feel like they're trying to get it over. They got it over with the realism between both of them, so now we're much more invested into it. But for as of winningness, I honestly think Tiffany needs to win more than Charlotte, because you're trying to establish new stars. You kind of got to give Tiffany this win to better establish her, and I just feel like the title reign itself has been kind of bland a little bit, but I feel like her beating Charlotte definitely catapults her.
It'd be a huge win. Be like a big career accolade for her for sure.
See, I understand that. That's the thing. It's like she needs it more, but that doesn't mean that's gonna happen. I mean, I don't know if I'm right about Charlotte either, but that's why I'm like, yeah, it would probably do more for Tiffany. It's not gonna elevate or discredit Charlotte that much one way or another. But that's just, one side of it. Then there's the realistic side of, well, this is Charlotte. She was on the show for 14 months, and she's been the most prominent female star the last 10 years.
Yeah. I think realistically that might have been the initial plan, and maybe she's even
That's
down,
true.
Maybe
They
she's down with
could've.
another plan.
They could
and
have
they're-
switched it.
Yeah. I don't know though. We'll see
I don't know.
how it crumbles. What do you think, Cody?
We are 2-2.
I think we're going Tiffy on this one. I also just really look here for Charlotte. That's part of it, but
I knew that was going to be a major part
Yeah.
of this. What are we?
but at the same time, we can't keep having this kind of conversation about building people up just to hand it to the person that's been here forever. We keep having that same thing. It's like, oh, we got to build people. Okay, but this person's been here and have been a pillar for 10 years. I'm going to go for them to win the title. Like, let's put the title on them again. We can't keep. It's just like, oh, the old man's back. Give him back the belt. Like, hand it back over. You're just the new kids on the block. Get out of the way. The company carrier's back. They're no longer hurt. Give them back the title. So I don't know. I think it does more for Tiffany. Does Charlotte need to break Flair's at Mania this year? No, she can do it any other point.
Yeah. She'll only be on 15. But like that's been held off for a while, even her 15th reign.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
yeah,
More Tiffy on this
it's
one.
definitely one that in my opinion was getting rattled one way or another. I was like, and then I just, you got to make a decision.
Alright, what you got?
So this has been the worst build, I think. I mean, aside from the smaller matches, if we're looking at the marquee matches, though, I think this has been the worst build out of them.
Outside of the promos, what have they done?
I mean, yeah.
Well,
I
they
thought
did
the
another
pull
pull
apart
apart,
brawl,
just
yeah.
like the other 8 matches that did one.
That was honestly probably one of the best parts of this.
No, and honestly,
build.
the reality has done more for the feud, in my opinion. Because
Yes.
whenever you know there's real life heat involved, that is always more interesting. And I'm not saying it's the
Cut
most
some drama
necessarily
into the
interesting
story
thing.
for sure.
But since there's drama, it's automatically more
Yeah.
interesting than maybe 10 of these other matches.
Yeah.
In that sense.
And aside from a singles match with B-Fab on SmackDown, like, I don't know, over a month ago, Charlotte hasn't really had any matches since she's returned. So it has been like a lot of promos, pull apart brawls, but like, also aside from that, I mean, like, yes, when you add realism, it can be good, but like this is not. It's been good, but it's also been messy.
Yeah, no, it has. It's been messy for sure.
Some of it's been like cringe, like when Charlotte started doing like mocking Tiffany's voice, like Tiffany, like that was a little cringe, like because she just kept doing it. They kept talking over each other. It's like, okay, Naomi and Bianca did that when they had like their breakup promo and like they're talking over each other, but like that was understandable. Tensions are high; they're meant to be high. That in that situation, it's like it wasn't supposed to be. Now I already said a lot about on that. But no, it's tough. I flip flopped on this a lot too. I think at first for the longest time I was Charlotte, so now I'm Tiffany. So I'm going Tiffany, but yeah, man, it's like I think they wanted Charlotte, and I think they were going to go with Charlotte. But after seeing such the like negative reaction she's gotten, which I guess it doesn't really matter because she can easily be a heel. I think she's better as a heel, but I don't know. It also goes into like title changing as we just keep bringing it up. It's like how many titles are going to change hands, and I feel like we said more titles are going to change than retain. So
I've stayed on retain for several of them.
Yeah, well, I put a lot of change, so I'm going to go Tiffany. So that's not the only reason, but yeah, I think you got to build new stars, like Cody said. Charlotte, she can still get it. The only thing that kind of holds me back is like what you said, Tim. She was gone for so long, and then you bring her back just to lose. But maybe she's at that point.
I don't know where Tiffany goes after she loses. I really don't know. Like if she theoretically loses.
Ricky blowing up the bathroom.
It always hits it.
But no, I mean, like she could also. There's backlash, like we brought up too. Like Tiffany can win, then Charlie gets into backlash. But I don't know. I'm going Tiffany.
All right.
4-2. And who we starting with the next one?
I think
Or is it
I
you?
started that one.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
you.
Oh no.
What you got?
Pass. No. I'm kidding. All right. Well, what do we only have 2 more matches?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
The main event.
Oh no.
Triple
man.
threat.
Interesting. Well, this has been
Paul Heyman on a pole.
once again. I'm going to reiterate the fact that I don't think this was the original idea. I think they were basically backed into a corner and needing to do something with 3 of the biggest stars that weren't involved in the Cody match. I still was a proponent to get Punk involved in that and make that a triple threat with Cena and Cody, because that would have been interesting. Maybe Cena still could have turned, but who knows? It's just a theory, but because I was like, why would you do this? It makes sense to do Seth versus Roman, or if like Rock had been on the card, it'd have been Rock Roman, which I think that was what the plan was.
Yeah, it had
and
to
they
have been.
shifted things, because it only makes sense. Like there was an odd man out. Punk's finally getting his first WrestleMania main event. That's a big factor here. Paul Heyman, the flip-flopping, and, you owe me a favor. We talked about this a long time ago, and this was, like, the whole thing. Where I finally get my WrestleMania main event, like, I'll back you, and he's gonna back him. And then Seth says, "Oh, you owe me a favor now for not kicking his head in, basically, or curb stomping him." But that's the thing, because they leaned into that, I was starting to lean into maybe Seth winning, and then I was like, I don't know, because they actually acknowledged it openly. You know what I mean? Because if truly, I'm glad they did though acknowledge it, because now it makes it more unpredictable. You could see any of the results, and then some of the other ones, like you don't know. You're like, oh fuck, will it be Punk? Will Paul be in his corner matter? Is this all kind of a ruse? And of course, Heyman's actually with Roman Reigns. That could happen too.
Imagine you make it on the video game cover and then just go, nah, fuck it, I'm switching sides.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot to dissect, and I didn't even fully put all of my thoughts together about this match. I don't know about you guys. Before we even started this, that's why I was like, oh no. Whenever I realized it was me, we got 2 left, and that's one of them, and I had to start it, and I'm like, shit. So I was really thinking that. Whenever you said that over a month ago, like that was a good case, I'm like, that could be the fact that Seth is a little bit left out in certain ways and isn't a Paul guy this way or that way, and he might end up having Paul, go with him. But I also don't really know if that's Seth's style, you know what I mean? To be a Paul Heyman guy, like the other two are knowingly. And what does he do? Like, Roman's got nothing, and then for some reason Paul's with Seth? No. It's not going to happen. So I'm going to go with my initial instinct, and I'm going to say CM Punk is going to win the triple threat in his first Mania since WrestleMania 29. I could see it a lot of different ways, but that's what I'm going with, and that my instincts tell me that's what's going to happen above all.
I'm going to have to agree with you there. I feel like, he's another guy. Oh my gosh, all of our...
Everybody stop the tape. He just said Roman wasn't winning this match.
Yes, I did.
I did hear that. I heard
he said it. Somebody on tape, he said it.
Traitor. And not just that, he said, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh.
Okay, I do agree with you. I think it's just like all of our favorite childhood stars growing up. They're all getting up there. I mean, Punk's first Mania event at, definitely getting up there in wear and tear. So, I mean, this is his time. Roman, I feel like I guess he's done really well with what he's been doing, but it would be nice for a little change for him. And then, like Timothy said, I just can't see. I'm glad, speaking of randomly, I'm glad they got rid of the Seth freaking Rollins. I hated that. It was so tacky. I hated it. Seth Rollins is so much better than Seth freaking Rollins.
It was overused.
Yeah.
Well,
100%.
because it's also like an imitation of the word that you can't say.
Yeah.
So why would you say the fake one?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, it just I don't know, but I can't see him being a Paul Heyman guy. But Punk, I could see it.
Punk technically was the Heyman guy before Roman.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this could always lead into Roman and Seth, or not Roman and Seth, but Roman and Punk having their own one-on-one feud. Then he's
Heyman in a pole match.
and then he's really kind of in the center. You know what I mean? But I also think
Love triangle.
Yeah, I also think the triple threat was done to get everybody in it, and that was the most right thing they could think of once Rock fell through was putting them in a match together.
Rock fall through?
I'm sure he just couldn't make the time to be on TV every week to build it up, or even most weeks. We haven't seen him up until now since Chambers still. So it's like...
He wanted my soul.
I feel like it was just...
And he collected it, and then he just left.
I feel like he should have just never came back in the first place. But that's just me.
Anyway, E, I know you got some nuanced thoughts on this matter. Break it down for us.
So on Monday they had all three of them out in the segment. Roman questioning Paul Heyman's loyalty, which honestly, let's be realistic here. Paul Heyman has never had any legitimate loyalty to anybody but himself. So with Roman questioning his loyalty, this probably leads to a character change for Roman, especially with Paul being along with Punk. So maybe this leads towards a character change and everything. Monday, they basically had a segment. Seth hit Roman in the back with the chair. We know that plays a part in Roman's trauma towards Seth. Happened last year. I think Roman is definitely going to be looking for payback with another chair shot to the back of Seth. And I see the match being a good match nonetheless. But I honestly think Seth needs to win this match. My honest opinion is just I think he's due for a win here. I know a lot of people are booking Punk to win, but the spotlight has not really been on Seth that much, and I just think Seth deserves this win more than anybody. He did lose against Punk and beginning of Raw on Netflix, so I see Punk winning this, or not Punk, but Seth winning this match here.
All right, 2-1 to nothing. CM Punk.
What do you got, Code?
I think I've got CM Punk too on this one. Because at the same time, Seth's also a good pick. Because either is Seth's hatred towards Punk going to get in the way and cost a win there, or is it going to be his hatred towards Roman that costs him the match that way? So really, you can kind of flip-flop whoever. I kind of want to go Punk on this one, but I get where he's coming from. Seth needs the win out of all three of them. I think this is also one of the best built non-title matches of this Mania. Granted, it's like your top three. You could really just showcase that they don't need the title to be the main event.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think it's as much as I want it to be Punk, and I'm saying Punk, I do think that Seth needs the win though. It's just not what I want. So opinion-wise, I'm leaning Punk, and that's my pick. But if we really break it down, I think it needs to be Seth.
Roman doesn't really need much when he's the number one of all time. But, that's whatever.
Yeah, I think Roman's least likely. But I think the winner's going to be Seth freaking Rollins.
Oh my gosh, Lord help
I
me.
had to look you in the eyes.
It's so
Yeah,
tacky.
I'm going Rollins. I think Rollins needs it. I was really flip-floppy on this, and it was never Reigns. It was Punk or Rollins.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I would not be surprised if Punk won, and I would not be upset. The man has earned it, and especially at this stage in his career. I think if Punk did win, and this is where sometimes I even feel myself like, well, maybe it could be Punk, is like, it would immediately put him in the world title picture, which is something we've all been wanting to see since he returned, something he's been talking about, that like he's not here to make friends, he's here to make money and win titles. And so that would put him back in the picture. If he loses, it's like, all right, well, he's probably got to go through another obstacle to get back in the world title scene, like at least another PLE. Which, I mean, could be the case. Maybe he does feud with Roman, and which is where I do think we're going to see Rollins win. And I don't think it's going to be Rollins siding with Paul Heyman. I think it was too on the nose that they were hinting about it, talking about it, to the point where it's like, all right, it seems too obvious he's going to go with Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And what we saw on Raw this past Monday, where he was like, oh, he's scum of the earth, you can't trust him, yada, yada. I think that's genuinely how Seth feels about Paul Heyman. So I think, I don't think it's going to be because he sides with Paul. I think if anything, it's going to be kind of similar to the women's triple threat, except instead of, Rhea and Bianca focusing on each other, it's going to be Punk and Roman, obsessed with Paul Heyman. And maybe Paul even getting involved a bit and like can't decide who to side with. Seth capitalizes on that whole distraction, and Seth gets the win. But I think Seth, kind of like Drew, great 2024. And honestly, last year at WrestleMania, MVP of last year's WrestleMania, lost both his matches, got beat the hell up to the point where he took time off for injury. And like, you look at it, sacrificed everything so Cody could get his moment. So, yeah, I'm going Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I mean, I basically agree with what everybody said about everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's Punk's first Mania main event. He's a veteran, so he's owed. So I could definitely see it, but also I do think Seth is owed in a lot of ways too, and he needs to win. I think he will win. It's a decade since the heist of the century. He'll prove to be the king of the triple threat in WrestleMania against Roman Reigns, nonetheless. But it kind of makes me sketched out.
Roman
that
Reigns isn't getting pinned.
I think
He
he's
might
going to be the one to take the fall. Yeah.
I don't think he is.
I
truly do not.
was thinking he was least likely to take the pin, but
It's not going to be clean for sure.
it might end up
Paul's
being
getting involved somehow.
it might end
some
up
way
being
anyways.
who the winner is if Roman is involved in the pinfall or not. But then again, that might not have to be the thing that matters, you know? Because like the Paul stuff, like because the point you guys are making too, like that the Paul aspect of it is basically going to be their downfall in the match.
Right.
Either one of them or both of them, and then Seth walks away with the victory, and then it's like you and me, and then it's this, you know, and everybody fucking
Then
lost.
you get a Punk and Roman feud for a little bit.
You know, yeah. So which could happen either way.
Right.
You know, and then Seth would be the one left out because it'd be about Paul, which he has nothing to do with outside of having history with Reigns. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's good cases all around. Nobody's willing to say I don't know of many people anywhere that are saying Reigns would win this match. Because you look at it and like you knew he
No,
just
he's
had that.
definitely the lead.
He's
title.
gonna put on a show though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and just him being in it, he wasn't
The
lying.
entrance is gonna be phenomenal.
He
Yes.
wasn't lying when he said that on like whenever he was sitting at the head of the table waiting for Punk and Seth to say it. He's just like, you're in this because of me. The match does feel elevated because he's in it to close the show. If it was just Seth and Punk, they're plenty capable of doing it. But because Roman's there, it
He's a
does feel like
spectacle at this point.
it brings it up a notch. I will say that.
And I mean, we saw it on Raw after he pushed Paul. Like he's done with Paul now. So now we're seeing what Cody said coming true finally. Like it's finally done. He lost his family. He lost his title. He lost his. I don't know. He's got his Udo file back now, but he did lose it. And now he's
Character change.
Now he's losing his wise man. So now what Cody
Big
said.
dog.
What Cody said before WrestleMania 39.
Yeah, if he wants to be in the mid card. Again.
Big dog.
But yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
right.
think
Not
that's
the big
why.
card is the big dog.
I think anyone that like knows the long term history behind it knows that like that's why Roman's least likely to win is because he needs to lose Paul Heyman. He needs to lose that last piece of the
Yeah, he needs
bloodline,
it.
the tribal chief
Yeah.
character. He needs.
Well, because he's still
That's
kind of
the one
acting.
for
He's
so-
still kind of acting heelish while sort of playing to the crowd.
It's been
somehow.
going
never
so fucking
apologized
long
to
at
Jay.
this point.
No.
Never did.
No, he's still kind of got the same attitude. Like
He
maybe
just-
he's loose in aspects of it, but
Yeah, he just used Jay to take down Solo's bloodline. Never apologized to Jay. And people are like, oh, I acknowledge you. No,
but see, what
you're
if
toxic.
Punk leaves with Heyman
No,
and
Roman
Roman?
is toxic. Let's
And-
be real.
That's why I said he's
Here's the
toxic.
thing.
He is.
What if? But see that he'll really feel
He
that.
is.
What if he
He only cares
loses?
about himself.
What if he
That is not
loses?
true.
What if he loses to Punk, leaves with Heyman, like Raymond or fucking Roman takes the pin, everything. Like he will.
He's
he
not
will
taking the
lose
pin.
Everything.
Rock bottom.
There's no way.
Like, not the move, but like metaphorically.
And then he gets
Roman's
up,
at
and yeah,
bottom.
the Rock gives him rock bottom, and they finally do the match next year,
Yeah.
fucking WrestleMania.
Maybe.
Man,
Or he's the one
he
that
literally
Cena's
treats
17th title.
Paul like such a whipping boy, though. It's like Roman, even with the Usos, with anybody in the bloodline, any of Roman's relationships, it's basically like, what can you do for me? And then when you need me,
I'm
fuck
out.
off.
I'm out. Yep.
I
mean-
he's the most toxic friend of all
The whole
time.
night he really, like,
And then he wonders why everybody turns their back on him.
well, except for Sammy, he finally started treating Sammy right, and Sammy hit him back in the chair in that PTSD. You know?
So that is an even 3-3 split on Seth and CM Punk, huh?
Didn't expect
this is
that.
the thing. Seth is my boy, so I really want Seth to win. But like realistically, when I look at the past couple of Raws, Seth has came out on top.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So that's kind of like, does that mean we're not gonna have Seth win?
And
But
that's
I'm
usually how it
sticking to my
always
guns.
is, just instinctively
sticking to
over the
my
course of
guns.
wrestling
Go home,
history.
man.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see Punk winning.
Well, we've got one more
The
on the
main
card. The main of main events.
Oh, dude, I get to take this one, don't I?
And it's going to be the defending 1 year long reigning WWE World Champion Cody Rhodes, who unseated,
The GOAT.
one of the
You
best
just
in the
said
last
the goat was
20
Andrade
years.
earlier.
No, I said third GOAT.
I'll give him, one of the best of the last 20 years. And now Cody has been champ for a year.
And
he's
it's
defending
been
it.
boring.
Hey, he's in his Rocky 3 era. He's defending this belt. It's going to be,
Yeah.
against
It's kinda
the
like the
GOAT of
Rocky
yesterday, John Cena.
Hey,
man.
it's been rough in my opinion. Not a fan of Cody.
I
mean-
rough in my
You're
opinion.
still mad you beat Roman.
So you think, yeah,
such a
I
Roman fan.
love this whole
This is
Cena
a crush.
heel turn. I love it all. It's awesome. It's exciting. It's different. But it's just too damn obvious. It's just too damn obvious. Cena's not winning right now. Cena's winning. Just not right now. I mean, he's retiring when? Next WrestleMania, right?
No,
No,
the end of
the
the
end of the
year.
year.
The end of this calendar year.
Yep.
SummerSlam then. It's not here. It's not here. It's too obvious. They gotta let him run with that heel character instead of just immediately championship. They gotta be. It's gotta ride you on a roller coaster to make you genuinely believe if he's gonna get that 17th title or not. I think it
And they haven't built up the suspense, I don't feel enough. The dude's barely been on fucking
exactly.
weekly shows
See,
lately.
that's what I'm saying.
Not saying he's not going to win. I'm just saying, like, that's the fact. He hasn't. You know what I mean? It
As
hasn't
much
been
as I-
presented.
As much as I hate that American Nightmare,
Damn.
I think he's gonna win. I think he is, and I think it's gonna be great for him. And it's gonna be. It's just gonna be. It's just gonna be. It's just gonna be.
It's just seething through him.
It's gonna be a stunner. It's gonna leave. You know, it's gonna be one of those matches that just leave. It's just gonna be panning around the crowd, and everybody's gonna be like, "What the fuck just happened?" And then boom, over. I think that's what's gonna happen, and it's gonna be wild and unexpected, and it's gonna be a fucking, I don't know, something that we haven't seen from Cena in a long ass time. It's gonna be an impressive ass match. And I'm not even gonna get into that, to be honest. I'm just genuine.
Well, it's alright, because we'll get into it.
Exactly.
One of us.
So, I don't know. I think it's Cody's, like, a real shining moment in this reign before he inevitably loses it to Cena. And then Roman Reigns with his new character beats Cena before he retires. And I just think that it lines up perfectly just to prove that Reigns is more dominant than everybody in this generation. It's not even remotely close to an argument. I mean, that's exactly what's going to happen. Cena is going to lose. Cena is going to get his rematch at SummerSlam, and then Roman Reigns will beat Cena to put him into his retirement to take the title. Night, night, bye, bye. Over with. GOAT.
That was
But either way,
long-term booking.
I mean, honestly, can you not see it? Argue with me.
Argue
Argue with me.
What is there to argue?
That was one problem.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah.
That's it. Cody Rhodes.
Cody, he's going against him. He's taking him after going against him the last 2 years.
I mean, it's just time. It's just time.
Nightmare. Damn, so we got Cody Rhodes 1 up. Alright, let's hear it out. We've been talking about this for months, E. What do you got?
Cody Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes, Lana Rhodes, John Cena at 5. I got John Cena.
John Cena at 5. Not the Lakers reference.
John Cena at 5. I'm loving what they did with it. They couldn't give me what I want with Cody at first, but it is what it is. We got this. I'm excited for it. There's no way that you have John Cena turn heel and not win. He did get dropped. I'm assuming on the European tour with a Crossroads. Most likely he's probably going to go face to face with Cody and most likely get his get back or something like that. But as of winning, it's John Cena. You do John Cena versus Randy Orton at Backlash. Give me what I want. Give the St. Louis what we want.
I mean, I would be here for that just because of us, but that doesn't play into my Roman Reigns storyline, so I'm just not having it.
You made E lose his train.
What's my train of thought? Okay. All right. But honestly, with this match, I think everybody's gonna be excited about this. It's night 2, main event. It could go either way, honestly. But like I said, John Cena all the way. In the words of a lot of us to say, "Fuck Cody Rhodes' story." I just need Cena to win and get me further to Backlash in 2 weeks and give me what I want. You got Randy on the cover of Backlash. Give me Randy Orton versus John Cena. We already know that babyface chasing the championship is much better than a heel chasing for it. So give it to John.
Because people are invested in the babyface.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's hard for, other than maybe the handful of faces that we've seen, for any face to sustain their title reigns. You know what I mean? Outside of, Hogan, Austin, Rock, Cena, people like that. You know what I mean? Because after so long, people just grow stale on certain guys in their babyface reigns. The other thing you got to look at, and this is another important thing, is who's got, depending on what happens, whoever comes out of WrestleMania, who's got better competition coming out of it. Like, who's the face guy? Like, what heels would Cody have coming out of WrestleMania? What faces would Cena face coming out of WrestleMania? And then down the line. You know what I mean?
Also,
How do you see it going?
Also, I can't forget this. Travis Scott will catch his receipt after what he did.
Oh
He
my
should.
God.
He will catch his receipt. So
He
I gotta
should.
put that in there.
You could have a Texas bull rope match with
Yeah.
Cody.
Not good. He's just gonna give him one back. It's all right. Lay down.
Cody Raheem Rose.
So we got one for Cody and one for Cena winning the 17th championship at WrestleMania. He gets the main event one last WrestleMania. Perfect. That's honestly, you can't write it better though.
Mhm.
Either way, win or lose, he main events the last WrestleMania he's ever in. That's a pretty high note.
Yeah. Going Cena, but what if? But they did it with Cody. What if he doesn't win this one? You get to the end of the year, he's still heel. He says, "I'm not going." We get another year because that is an option. Because it just says he does keep saying the time is now, but does he really mean it? We've dropped the whole retirement tour talk, leading into him turning heel.
Because we're invested in the now story, though. I think that's.
I think he's
we all know
legitimate.
that
I think
the
he's
last
legitimate.
run.
They're still calling it his last WrestleMania.
Are they still?
Yeah.
Okay. So then, but still, I'm still leaning Cena no matter what. Like, don't get me wrong, big Cody fan, like Cody. I do agree, it's getting stale. But fucking Roman got stale too.
I'm not saying that, but hey,
4
Roman got
years.
stale Roman got stale in a little over 3 years, not
I was
a
stale
year.
way before 4 years. But that just goes to show not every title reign.
Has to be
4 fucking years.
exactly.
I don't know why we did 4 years in the first place. Whatever. But no, they keep like, Cody's kind of face, Cody's kind of heel, Cody's kind of face, Cody's kind of heel. Like, what are we doing here? We gotta pick a side. We can't keep being the tweener here. We gotta pick a side and run with it.
I agree with
Do
that.
we-
Because like how clean cut of a baby face is he if he's gonna do like the heel tactics too? You
Exactly.
can't be a clean cut baby face and still do that stuff.
Let
You
him
can't.
let him lose the title. Let him be all pissed off that he lost. Let's lean into the Cody Homelander thing that we've been teasing forever, and just let him fucking run. Give Cena the moment. Let him have the title. Let him break the record. Let him ride out of WrestleMania on the horse and just. Who's to say Cena doesn't turn face afterwards though? After winning the title, that is a fuck you to Rock. He got his moment. He got his title. Just flips.
It would
You
have
think
to
it
be.
ends that fast? You think it ends that
I hope
fast? I mean, I don't know.
I'm not saying like the night after Raw, he's like,
No.
fuck you
Yeah.
guys! No, but like before the
Some
end of the
tension
year.
builds up. Yeah, I mean,
Before the end of the year.
he's
you start
definitely
seeing
turning
slips.
face again before he retires.
Yeah.
100%. Something's gonna happen. He's
Do
gonna.
the turn at like SummerSlam or something.
Yeah,
You
he's
just he
gonna-
rides it out as a heel and then never does another public appearance again. I fucking hate all of you.
You turned your back on me all these years. Fuck you guys about. So yeah, no. Cena, because I kind of want to see what Cody does after this. Don't get me wrong, blow the title reign.
Go
But it's
on,
growing
probably.
stale. And before it gets to the point that nobody fucking likes it, I think we need to move on.
All right, 2 for Cena, 1 for Cody.
I agree with Ricky and Cody. I think the reign's kind of stale. I got nothing against Cody. I like Cody a lot. I was rooting for Cody both 39 and 40. Love Cody. And even 38 when he returned against Seth. That was awesome. But it's not his fault exactly. I mean, I think it's like lack of credible opponents for him that he had during his title reign. To the point where like a lot of his defenses, and Rhea was victim of this last year when she had her year-long title reign, of like yes, it was good matches. You and I like to talk about this, last year during Rhea's reign. It's like she's getting good matches, but it's like all of them are predictable. Like, yes, it's nice that she built up Zoe Stark, but it's like,
Is she gonna beat her?
Yeah.
It's like, she's gonna beat.
So
all
same
these
with
people.
Cody's reign. I feel like most of it's been like, all right, I know he's just hanging on to this until Mania, so it's like, yeah, it's a good match, but it's hard to get invested so much into the story when it's like, I know he's not dropping it until WrestleMania 41, if even then. Because what I get caught up on is Cena's advertised for Backlash, but he has a very limited schedule the rest of the year. So he's not going to be at every PLE. My guess is maybe after Backlash, we don't see him again, at least on a PLE, until SummerSlam. So if he
I really
does,
fucking hope not.
well, I mean, it'd play into the whole heel thing of just not being around and being a part.
I mean, I
if he
understand
does
that,
win,
but
being
it
a
seems
part-time
It's gonna be a
champion.
Money in the Bank and stuff.
It seems like he legitimately
I don't know, is he
wants to
advertised
give
for
it
it
a
yet?
full-time run
Oh,
before he
maybe
gives it
that's
up.
I don't know all the dates he's confirmed for, so he could be confirmed for Money in the Bank, but I'd have to imagine that like he's gonna miss at least a couple one between Backlash and Money in the Bank. But yeah, I mean,
Man, to see him as champ would be pretty fucking cool, though.
yeah, that's what throws me off about Backlash is like, all right, is that gonna be like his first title defense, like
That
rematch
would be
against
so
Cody,
sick.
or is it gonna be his rematch against Cody after losing at Mania, and that's when he gets 17? But it's like,
I thought
okay, but
about
if you go that
but
route,
yeah.
if you're gonna do 17, why not just do it at Mania?
Mania,
That's a bigger
exactly.
stage. It's a grand occasion. You're cementing him as the GOAT.
Yeah,
Do it at Mania. If you're not going to do it at Mania, do it at SummerSlam.
exactly.
Not SummerSlam, then do it at Survivor Series. You got to do it at one of your big shows. But if it's not at Mania, I think it's for sure SummerSlam. First year, 2-night SummerSlam. That'd be a great way to, hey, here's our GOAT. I'm probably going Cena though, just because of like what E said. Like if you're going to turn him heel, and then even no matter what he does on SmackDown this Friday, if you turn him heel and then he loses in like his first big challenge, like he couldn't cut it as a face, so he had to sell his soul to Rock, and then you can't cut it as a heel, go home. That's like
Keep all
like-
that cash and get the fuck out of here.
Right.
But he also said that he's going home once he wins the title. He said
Right.
he's done.
You're going home as a winner, not a loser, and that's the difference there. And like, yeah, so if he couldn't make it as a face to the point where I got to give up everything I did for 2 decades and sell my soul to the Rock, which I don't think it's going to be a clean match at all. I think it's going to be a messy finish. I
Yeah.
really think we're going to see Rock, maybe Steve, but it's like that's where I think we could see Steve, because if you bring
How
up
many
Rock,
times have we
who's
heard
going
we're
to
gonna see
who's going to
Steve?
counterbalance Rock? Steve. Makes sense. I don't know who else would come out to counterbalance.
Well, and Stone Cold put basically like little Easter eggs in his words, and he's not the type of person
He's
that's
not
ever going to say anything public like that he's not sure is okay to say, or
Right.
planting seeds kind of way.
Mhm.
And he's like, hey, if he needs a friend or if he needs somebody, an ally kind of thing, he's like, I'll be around, like Las Vegas and everything.
Right.
And the thing is Steve coming in, I mean, I'll get to it, I guess, whatever, it's my turn and everything, but Steve coming in plays better if Cody wins, not if Cody, why would Steve come out if Cody loses the belt and then they're attacking him or doing whatever?
Right.
It's just like that doesn't, and then Cena walks out with the belt and then Steve's there with Cody
Unless they have
celebrating what?
unless there's a third person joining up with Cena and Rock in this.
Yeah, that'd be
collaboration.
crazy though. Cena, Rock, and Stone Cold.
Plus
in the
somebody
same
else.
faction.
I know,
But-
I'm
but
not
see,
saying
that's-
Steve.
that's
I'm
my
not
point
saying
is-
Steve. It could be someone else that just outnumbers them. Then it's like 3-on-2.
Some of the
I
seed
mean, that'd be
planting,
kind of awesome.
some of the
What
seed
if it was
planting
Stone Cold.
in this, it
Randy,
just
I don't
makes
know.
me think that I'm like, that's what makes me partial to like the Cody aspect, and then I'm like, because I see all the points and like the credibility of Cena turning and like not giving him the title at WrestleMania, but I also see Ricky's point. So like I get that, and then I get your part of it, E, and then I understood what Ricky said about it's too obvious, because it really is, because everybody thinks Cena's getting it at Mania.
Yeah.
That's the thing, everybody.
Right. Like the
And
more
it's
I,
just like, oh,
the more
it's
I
got to
think
be
about
here,
it, it really could be SummerSlam. Like first 2-night SummerSlam in history.
It could be in Backlash. Could be a
Oh,
Cody
well,
rematch.
that's the thing is, like,
Or
that's
it could
why-
be a-
As much as I'd love to see it, because
that would be
St. Louis,
insane.
it's like, but think of the market, and it's like again, a grand occasion like that, you got to plan it for either Mania or SummerSlam.
I think
that's where
so.
I'm like, and I get what you're saying.
That would be
too, but
amazing to see. We would shit ourselves.
I
with
just-
that
there's-
shit.
There's no way I see this match going down clean, and because of that, that's where it's like you bring up a great point. If I see no way this match goes down clean and it is dirty, if Steve comes out, he's not gonna come out just to like have his AB defeated and then Cody loses his belt. Like I think if that goes down to it, Cody's gonna retain, and if that happens, Cena's not winning at Backlash. He's gonna win at SummerSlam. But how do you prolong the story until then?
I don't know if I would put it past that. I've thought this whole time. I'm like I was trying to envision scenarios.
Unless they just run like a whole authority type thing where like even though he lost and like you would say he had typically earn it back, work his way back, they just use their power and he's just given another match.
Yeah. Or if they try to rob Cody of his moment, then that's when Steve's comes out and helps him kick their asses and everything.
Yeah.
If Rock's there, and we still haven't even heard any definitive closure on that.
Right.
Because if Rock's not there, I don't think we see Stone Cold.
No, 100%. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To see how the way all this is like lining up.
Rock probably like just doing the heel thing won't even announce till the day of, like, oh, I'm gonna be at WrestleMania tonight,
Right.
At this point, if he hasn't shown up yet, then he'll wait
Or he might just
until
pull
it's
I
or
would
it'll be a
I
surprise.
wouldn't put it
yes,
past
they pull a bad
completely.
blood and just surprise. Yeah.
But it's like you were a major proponent of the story at Elimination Chamber, so it wouldn't feel like that much was. It would still be like a oh shit pop if he showed up.
Right.
But it's like people kind of expect
Yeah.
it or are hoping for it at this point because it's like you were like the one that turned Cena heel, and
we
now
still
you're not
have
even
no-
here.
And we still have no explanation as to
He's-
why.
he's gonna be there. It just feels because like I can't imagine that day happening and he just doesn't share or say one post about it. It's what I mean?
Right.
Like I just envisioning it, why wouldn't he be there? You know what I mean? Even
Right.
if he hasn't announced it. But I don't know, but the context of it, I feel like he has to be there. I just don't think he wanted to commit to a match because he couldn't be on TV all the
Right.
weeks leading up to it. You know what I mean? Which is why we haven't seen him since Chamber.
I do want to say that I appreciate that this match being the biggest match of the whole weekend in terms of just like star power feels so unpredictable.
It feels so big, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like our tone of our conversation completely got like
It did.
more serious when it came to like
But
the
it
last
does
two
though. Like,
matches.
it feels so unpredictable. I mean, I guess like 39 was unpredictable because we all thought Cody was going to win, then Roman retained. But like once 40 rolled around, it's like, all right, Cody's getting.
Yeah, these
Cody's
big
getting it.
title
But this
matches.
match, I really would not be surprised either way, whether it's Cody or Cena. Like,
These big
I
title
am
matches
so split.
are like change the fate of the company in the next year. You know what I mean? So it's like this is of utmost importance.
Right.
You know.
The only reason why I lean Cena is because of my bias. Like I'm very
Well,
split.
and see, I've tried not to let any of my biases rule any of my results tonight.
I had to
I really
because I
had-
could not make a decision. I was
tried
torn.
to-
No, this is the only one I've let my bias influence it. But
That's kind of what I was saying too. I'm like,
you guys are 3-1. 3-1 Cena so far.
I really see the point for Cody to win too. Like initially for the longest time I was like Cody's probably retaining. But it was the other one that I kind of like flipped on throughout the weeks a little bit leading up. Because there's no bigger stage to pull the trigger on Cena winning the 17th than Mania.
Mm-mm.
And he's already got a limited schedule. So it's like if you want to actually have some marquee moments with this run, like the earlier the better. If you don't put it on until SummerSlam, that's like hardly anything.
Yeah.
4 months.
And he's gonna be there a couple times each of those months.
Yeah.
So if that. So I don't know, I just feel like it is kind of I don't really know what you do with Cody after this that's bigger than this either if he retains. So it's kind of like,
what are the chances they haven't fully revealed Cena's schedule for the rest of the year? They've given us some things.
Oh, he already wasn't supposed to be on the SmackDown.
Yeah,
I don't think.
How many?
Yeah,
how
but I
much
mean,
of
that's
these
maybe
days
a
have
weekend.
they
Well,
put
yeah,
out
they should have still listed it on there.
to throw us off? That maybe he won't be here the whole rest
I
of
don't
the
think
year.
they revealed all his dates.
I don't think so.
I heard from Clash of the Castle, he's on the advertisement for it, and then I also saw something about that he's penciled in for the Raw after Mania. So now you kind of speculate:
He's the
is
champ.
he winning,
Mm-hmm.
or is he just?
especially if he's at Backlash too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Cena.
Because he doesn't have to be there. Roman
No,
said you don't have
no,
to
he
show
doesn't
up with the
have to.
title
If
every
he were
year.
to lose, I don't know if he'd be showing up the next
Well, and
night.
that's the thing. Everybody's whole like, oh, it all started with Brock. Oh, he's gonna show up every 3 months, blah blah blah, and then like Roman and everybody started doing it.
Goldberg.
And then like now, like you're gonna expect Cena to do that, like go away anyway. But it works out anyways because he'd be heel and he would have the title.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, it's kind of part of it. Him and like with that picture they took with Travis Scott and Rock and like all three of them, I guess just
so good.
They wanted that to be like, oh,
Yeah,
like this is
picture's
fucking
ridiculous.
Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is our like we're above all of you guys.
Yeah.
And I just wish the build
That should have been the group that was called the Elite. That should have been.
Yeah.
I just wish the build for this match would have seen Rock and Cena on at least a few more shows, either each or one appearance from Rock, or you know what I mean? Because it feels very choppy the way it's
But
happening.
if he just pops up.
And
on
that
SmackDown-
week that Cena and Cody went on the mic against each other, Cena fucking tore him apart.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, I thought Cody had.
I
He
mean,
had
that
some good
was-
shit in there.
I mean,
He
him-
said
Okay,
some
but
good stuff.
on the mic,
from their sons.
on the mic, off the cuff, there's not a whole lot of people that would be able to go back and forth on the mic with Cena.
I think Cena still held
Yeah.
up a bit.
There's
to
no,
help
yeah,
protect
no,
Cody.
I mean, he could have said way worse stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
not going to.
No,
You
but
know?
he could have.
But Cody wouldn't have thought of stuff
He goes-
like that off the
He
top
goes,
of
I'm
his
not
head.
gonna cook you. I'm gonna bury you.
Yeah.
Bury me.
Well, and that line automatically set the precedent for what he was about to say was going to
Yeah.
be some like gruesome just bullshit.
I don't
to him,
bury talent. I am talent. I bury mediocrity. I was like,
Yeah,
dude.
no, that was a great.
Dude.
That was a great line.
Yeah.
But I think he could probably shred most people on the microphone, especially if it's not scripted.
Cody made good points too. He was like, "You created the same disenfranchised fans that allowed me to go and create a whole nother company.
Yeah.
And now look where I am."
No, that's true. They all
So
they
like,
all
see,
said some great
Clean your
shit.
locker
Yeah,
room
pretty much like
before you
implying
let
that
in.
you're the reason I'm in the spot I'm in. And like,
I mean, no,
Cena,
that was a great
and
promo
Cena can say the
battle,
same
I
to
thought.
Cody. You're like, I'm the reason you're in that, or you're the reason like I'm back here trying to get this title, like because you're ripping me off. Like that's what Cena's trying to say is like, hey, you're out here talking crap about me, but you're just another carbon copy of me. Like, say you can steal the keys to the mansion or whatever. He said the blueprints doesn't mean you can build it.
Yeah.
But
Just watching their promos and their work, like each week, I've just tried to envision who feels like they're going in and walking out, like, with the belt for Mania. And, like, just. Because here's the thing. I know that Cena's going to win his 17th world title this year sometime. Probably off Cody at WrestleMania or not at WrestleMania. But everybody who picked John Cena.
Everybody picked John Cena except me.
Yeah,
right?
except you. Is there any scenario that you can see logically, unemotionally, but logically, where Cena doesn't walk out of WrestleMania the champion, but wins it at a later date from Cody?
100%
Yeah.
SummerSlam. If it's not,
I could also see
going
it happening
to
at Backlash. Honestly, maybe they need a little longer than
I mean,
that.
I would
though.
love that being from St.
Yeah.
Louis, being here, but
But
like,
we're also
it's such a
assuming
small stage
they
for that.
want Cena to have a long title run with this.
and
What
maybe
if they
with,
don't?
and maybe with Cena being like, hey, I'm not gonna give you guys what you want, character change, music change. Like maybe he's also like okay with winning it on the smaller stage because he doesn't want the pyro, the celebration of breaking the record. Maybe being this heel character, he'll just blow it off, and like I don't know. So like, you could have it at Backlash, but it seems so small.
Now that we're talking about it a little more though, what date is Backlash? May what?
10th.
See, and like that's super soon that they'd have to turn around and have a rematch.
Less than a month.
I know. So it's like, but he is gonna be there. So it's like that's a reason why it could happen.
He's either there for his first defense
Yeah.
or for his rematch.
Yeah, I think so too. So it's hard. I mean, I said months. I was like, oh, this is his Rocky 3. This is where he's
Yeah.
on top and he just can't get squashed and be made to look a fool. And I don't know, man. For the longest time, just like Charlotte, I was on the Cody. I was on that board. Like, not necessarily what I want to happen, because I would be fine with Cena winning. I would be fine with Tiffany beating Charlotte, too. All that's good with me. I like pretty much all of these people, so.
I feel like we actually don't know what's going to happen this year, and I like that.
No, yeah, for sure. It feels for sure less predictable in the
Yeah,
main event
100%.
than the last few. I think I'm going to go with Cody to retain, to be honest.
Are you?
Yeah. That's what I felt, and that's kind of what it doesn't mean off the bat, I don't think it, shrinks Cena like all that much. I mean, it seems like it, but what if they turn around and have a main event and Cody tries to walk away like, as the proud face champion, like, beats Cena and everything. And then Rock and Cena do their shit. They beat the hell out of Cody. That's when the glass breaks. Steve comes out. They kick their asses out of the ring. They have a beer bash. Jay comes out to celebrate with them. It's the end of WrestleMania.
Yeah. The possibilities are.
I don't know. I'm not. Certainly, if he gets involved and it's to that extent, I think it's a Cody win. But it has to be a Cody win for that to be relevant. You know what I mean?
And then we get Austin and Rock at SummerSlam.
No, we don't
Yep.
get a happy go fun time into WrestleMania.
I would be fine with it. I'm just portraying it the way I kind of see it. I'm like, I don't know, but I also could see Cena picking it up down the line this year. And since I've stuck by that, I feel like I'm gonna stand by that. I'm honestly, part of me feels a little more secure in picking that than keeping Charlotte to win the women's match. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But I am gonna stick by all of what I said because you got to.
This point, yep.
That's all you
You
got.
get it
Your
now.
balls in your word. Ask fucking Tony Montana. Oh shit. Well, that was a 4-2 split.
Yep.
Oh shoot. Dude, we have rounded out. We've already gone 3 hours and over 40 minutes.
Damn.
That's a lot of
Packing
hits.
in today.
It is. I'm sure both
I
nights
feel
will be
like
longer than that.
We had a lot to talk about in between every match too, because it just.
Oh yeah.
Every time someone says something, it just.
Sparks a whole
Yeah,
lot more
yeah.
conversation.
Was it the Jade Naomi match? We circled back to it, and I was like, "That's the match we were talking
Yeah.
about."
Yeah.
Was that, or was the War Raiders one where we just were so far
Yeah.
off into whatever
Both.
that when we came back around, we were like, "Wait, oh, this is the match?"
Yeah, we said we were like, all right, let's make this one a fast one, and then we got deep into it.
Yeah.
But hey, that's how it goes.
And then we dabbled into like the next match. So we're like, we'll just make this the next match instead.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It feels like whenever we do these wrestling podcasts, I mean, you guys have been on a lot of them. I mean, well, all of them pretty much.
Every one.
I mean, doesn't it feel like we were more split on a lot of matches than usual? I feel like
Yeah,
there's usually
yeah.
like
Usually,
A couple
it's
unanimous.
usually
several clean sweeps.
Yeah.
yeah.
Granted, tonight multiple of you picked fucking to be the one just to fucking interrupt the cycle.
I mean,
El Grande America.
there ain't no way he's
No, I
losing.
really think LA Knight might retain.
No, he's not.
I really think he might.
But I also feel like we've got more triple threats on this card. Take away the clean sweep.
That's
Yeah.
true too.
Fatal
Yeah.
four-way.
Yeah.
No, we
All
have
time
more.
triple
We have
threats.
more multi-person ones
Yeah.
for sure.
There was less of a chance to have sweeps like normal.
And the thing is, we bitch about the builds, but like if the builds had been more clear, it might be more obvious who the winners would be.
Yeah.
But even the singles matches, like a lot of them feel like they could go either way.
Mhm.
Like this Mania is one of the more unpredictable ones, like all the way through.
I think whatever they choose for Cody and Cena will be, whenever it happens, I feel like it'll feel justified and they'll give a good reason. I mean, if not, and Cena does lose, then I'm sure we'll get pretty quick the reason why that happened the way it did and when he's getting. Because I mean, that's the other thing is if he gets his rematch and that's soon after, like that's gonna be the predictable one because it's gonna be like, okay, well he's definitely winning tonight.
Right.
How many times is this guy gonna lose as a heel before he wins the title? Unless he needs the people. Could be.
Kids, I'm sorry.
But, well, I guess that's the WrestleMania 41 prediction pod right there.
Yes.
We did it. We did
Yes,
it again.
We did. There's another one.
Excited for it.
I know it should be good.
Oh, man. We
The
still got a
card
few
is
more.
definitely gonna
I'll
hit.
see you. I'll be able to see you boys on Sunday for it.
What's Cena going to do this Friday? That's the thing.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
What's going to happen?
And then we got Triple H going in the Hall of Fame this weekend too.
Yep. And Lex Luger.
Yeah.
That's earned.
Michelle McCool.
Yeah. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening in. And we will see you next time. Stick with us. Have yourselves a great week. Watch WrestleMania. And get back to us on it. See ya.